When all else fails, just refresh the page and that'll usually... Yep, there we go. Okay.
When all else fails, panic. Panic and flail.
Okay, but... Yee, we be on time tonight.
Slightly.
So, does everybody want to... I'll go ahead and start doing the link bombs while everybody is...
Introducing ourselves.
Yee. And I'll just go last with that so that everybody can... And just take your time.
Hi. I'm trying to block the sound of my fan because I'm currently dying. I only get two.
I generally recommend against doing that.
I know you don't want me to die, but sometimes just dying is fun.
Again, I generally recommend against doing that. That tends to be a very permanent answer.
So, that is me. Yeah. Next person, armored, go. Or the next A name.
Alright, so... hello, I'm Armored Hunter. And I am of pain. I spent basically hours yesterday walking and swimming. And did cliff jumping. Woo.
Well, at least it was a fun source of pain.
Yes, it was a fun source of pain, but there is pain nonetheless.
It sounds like a you problem.
Yes, like so many things are just a you problem, like your attitude.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, theoretically, if it was a problem, it's not.
Anyway, yeah, so... I may be a little out of it this session, but I'll do my darndest. Anyway, on to the next person.
Danny, that's you.
I'm going last out of the player, so the next person besides me.
Okay, Failsy, that's you.
Oh, that's me, okay. I'm Fail Trolls. I literally just slept 52 hours.
Jesus fuck, man.
I don't know what the illness is, but yeah, that happened.
That makes sense.
Wish I could sleep that long, being like this.
The 52-hour big slap.
So I'm a little out of it as well.
It's gonna be a session where everyone's a little bit out of it. Hopefully I can get some pep into all your steps.
Whee!
With the snakes. Mythosia.
Next.
Do it.
Hi, I'm Mythosia. I just got off work, and now I don't have to work for 12 days, and that's pretty exciting.
Sounds like a time.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Alright. So, Danny, are you going after me, or...?
I'm going now because I just finished doing all the link bombing.
Alright.
Hi everybody, I'm Danny Boop. I am the streamer for all of this, and apologies if you can hear a lawnmower in the background. The other Boop decided that it would be a great idea to mow the lawn. But, it is what it is. If y'all hear it, you hear it, and that's it.
It's not an obtrusive noise. And hello everyone, I'm Ash, the DM. I exist. And as I understand it, there's something we need to do before I begin the session recap of last session.
Yes, there is. And before I play this, if he ends up listening to this, I want to say a big thank you to Arkoff for allowing me to use this.
Hooray for
A ding dong doodly doodly ding dong do. A birthday.
Where's this gonna play?
How do you do? Open presents, cake is too. A good thing to have on a birthday day is ice cream and presents coming your way. 'Cause presents are good to open up.
Doodly doo.
Hope there's something good inside for me. It's a birthday time of year for you. Happy birthday, doodly doo. Birthday is a good time. Eat up the chocolate cake all night. Lollipop, sweet tooth, got it on your face. Put on the birthday time of year. Ice cream's cold if you eat it fast. A birthday doodly, birthday do. Birthday, woo. Woo, birthday doodly ding. A doodly doo birthday, woo-hoo. It's a birthday, woo. Birthday.
Happy birthday, Andy!
Happy birthday!
Happy
Merry-
birthday! It's tomorrow.
Merry birthday. Merry
Happy
birthday. Happy unbirthday.
I'm going to be a slightly older child tomorrow. Technically at 9 a.m.
I always forget that you're technically the youngest of our group.
There's no technically about it.
I am the youngest of the group. I am a baby.
Not the youngest on the server, but of this group, yes.
I am the child.
I always assumed I was the youngest until I heard how old Andy was. That's because the rest of you are like in your 20s to later.
Just turned 30
Never
this
felt
year.
old.
I'm
Phil's-
of that prime adult age.
Failsy, you may be older, but you are actually fairly successful for yourself, so be happy. Alrighty then. So, is everyone ready to get into this thing?
I'm ready to be
Yes.
Teta and meet some very big snake people.
Hit us
There
with that episode recap.
Alrighty then. Last time on the Scattered Realms, Session 16, our band of intrepid adventurers, Keta the Solicitous Bard, Travinche the Human Dancer, Morgan the Hexblade Warlock, Thalesy the Sorcerer, and Brimstone, the soon-to-be obsessed with otherworldly electronic creations, found themselves face to face with an ever-expanding sands of the Flagora Desert, without much of a plan for how it would be that they would travel its expanse. Their travel was rough, but peaceful, and despite it all, strange nightly encounters, party mishaps, and finding of plant matter which may or may not be hallucinogenic, they managed to reach a point, cresting into the night of their second day of travel, where in the far distance the red sands below slowly shift from a deep crimson red to a gradient fade of purple, and finally to a brilliant azure blue. So yes, at the point where it's more or less the end of the day, about the time where you'd be bedding down for the night. And you can see probably another few hours journey into the distance this massive pyramid with 4 spires of stone at each of its corners. And honestly, at first, it's almost looks like you're not quite seeing it due to the distance and how desert vision works. How it causes that strange warbling effect on anything that's in the far distance. But the fact that you can see it implies to you just how massive it is.
Ooh, it's home.
Tug on Failsy's arm and go, do you think if we push on a little bit, they'll let us stay the night? So we don't have to worry about them coming in, ambushing our little carriage.
They should. I live there.
I mean, but we don't live there. We're strangers.
Who's driving right now? I think it should be Brimstone, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like for you to make a survival check for me.
Okay.
So Failsy, I don't speak snake, so I can't really help with
That's
talking.
a 4, but
Ooh.
You get the feeling like you're not really sure, mostly because you kind of just zone out and exist while driving the cart. that
Mhm.
you're not really sure, but pushing forward, you don't know if you guys would even make it there by morning.
Right.
So you'd be pushing some serious levels of exhaustion to get there.
Mm.
At least you would. Everyone else could technically have a very uncomfortable sleep in the back of the cart.
Mhm.
And at that point, you were actually kind of worried that the horse might collapse because it's already kind of at its limit.
I don't think that's gonna be a good idea.
Okay.
Not because I don't want to meet the wonderful people who've raised Failsy, but if the horse dies, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Oh.
Fine.
Well,
For the
let's take a
horse.
No. Okay, think about it. You can see your wife early in the morning. It'll be all fresh and a little bit of, I think I still have a little bit of makeup on me.
You would. Some of it's kind of melted now. I mean, you bought quite a bit of makeup before, and I don't assume you've been gussying yourself for every day of just casual travel. So you still have makeup on you.
I can do your makeup. I'm pretty good at that. I practice on myself a lot, and then I practice on my dad. Kind of hard to do his makeup because he's red.
Flashback to Redemption, just like, chum fabulous. I could see Redemption being the dad that would totally let his daughter just do his makeup.
Yeah, probably.
Keeps her busy.
Just rock it.
And then when we get there, we can also get some wet cloths for Madame Elway so she can cool off a little bit and not not have such a struggle in the desert.
Fails, you would know about the structure of the Zemodus temple.
I
The
was
fact
about to ask, would there be like a hot springs or something inside? Like an oasis?
the Zemodus temple is actually a massive pyramid in an even more massive oasis. It is actually a structure built in the middle of what is effectively a giant lake. Like, bordering on the size of a sea is the size of this oasis.
We could just throw Madame Elway into the oasis until we leave.
Never make that sound again.
Well, I mean, don't know if that's a good idea.
Felzy just leans over and is like, she's a leviathan drying up in the desert. I think throwing her into a lake will be fine. At least it'll dry. At least it'll moisten her up.
Say moisten. That sounds weird.
I mean, you'd also know that lake is where a certain very large family member of yours often spends time.
Well, we can at least put Madame Elway into a pool or something.
Yeah, you can get a tub for her. They'd be able to get her a tub.
Failsy, I have a question. I assume she's gonna ask this when they're actually bedding down for the night, like in the caravan.
Yeah, you can bed down either in the caravan or in the sands around it.
Basically bedding down for the night. It's just, do you think that I might be able to maybe get like a scroll of the kind of magic you can do, or just like learn maybe one spell from there?
I'm not sure how to answer that one because Felzy learns magic by making shit up.
Well, you remember magic by making it up in your own form. The Yuan-Ti themselves have given you spellbooks to give you the basis of the understanding of arcane knowledge. So whereas you yourself don't have a spellbook, you were taught magic. And you have some idea how to transcribe magic, i.e. why you were able to pick up enchanting fairly easily.
The libraries are pretty large in the Zemo I'm sure they can help you out there.
Does your wife know magic?
Jamel wasn't exactly. She could use magic, but she didn't prefer to.
Jamel has other shit, I forgot the word.
Talents?
Yeah. I was trying to find the right word for that. Jamel had other talents. She wasn't very much into the magic thing.
Kind of like Brimstone.
Kind of,
Let-
except not so much angry at used magic.
Not that he's angry. It's just that he doesn't trust magic. He has a really bad past with people who use magic.
I swear he's going to turn that gun on me one of these days.
As long as you don't try to kill him, then he probably won't.
I have been nothing but helpful, and I still feel like he's going to turn that gun on me.
Alrighty then. Alright, so I will ask, are you guys wanting to take watches?
Probably.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. What order would you like your watches to be in?
I would like to take first watch.
Da Vinci would probably take either first watch or last watch because he would need to use whatever sunlight he can the most.
Yeah.
Felzy can take the darkest part. However many watches we actually need to do.
Only 3.
Felzy take middle.
4 watches, 2.
Yeah, there's
Like,
4
watch is
watches
2
to
hours.
have. Yeah, technically, the fewer watches you take, the longer your long rest has to be.
Alright.
So if you take 4 watches, your long rest only has to be 10 hours long.
10? I thought it was 8.
I mean, technically, I make it 8, but it's supposed to be 10 because the persons who stay up for the watch have to then sleep for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Because being up for the watch isn't supposed to count towards your 8 hours of sleep you need. But I let it
Yeah,
count.
but I thought you needed only 6 hours of sleep.
No, it's 8.
Um,
Everything I've read says it's 8.
So, instead, Keta will take second watch then. So, Da Vinci can have first.
Felzy take third.
Alright.
Just need somebody to take fourth.
I'll do it.
I will also give you guys this bit of information. I feel like I got the moon cycle wrong last time because there is actually a good amount of light at night here because it is currently in the 3/4 full moon cycle here. So it's not total darkness. It's very poor quality light, but you can at least see for about 100 feet around the camp. I mean, of course, humans without dark vision have a much harder time, but those with dark vision can see fairly easily.
Not so freaky cat in the darkness, kind of just like lit up eyes in the dark.
Yeah.
Before... Go ahead and finish what you were going to say.
I was just going to say, it's just like camping under the starlight. But what were you going to suggest?
Before watches start, wanted to have Morgan say something to Da Vinci. Or at least talk with him for a second.
Alright, so while everyone's getting their bedding situation set it up, you can pull him to the side. I assume.
Yeah.
Would Da Vinci allow himself to be pulled to the side armored?
Well, yes, he's taken first watch, so basically as everyone else is kind of going down, he would still be up, and if Morgan's not watching, it doesn't matter when she's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she just kind of pull him off the side and just be like, can we talk for a moment?
Hmm. Sure. I'm fine to chat.
And once they're at least somewhat alone, she just looks kind of nervous and then just taps the ring horn and just be like, "What exactly did you mean by giving this to me?"
Well, it's a gift. Those who I end up spending the longest time traveling with, usually I give them a gift. Something to remember, for them to remember me by, as eventually we move along.
Okay, so it's... God, this is gonna sound horrible. It's not you, like, trying to lay any kind of claim on me, then.
No, no, no. Oh, I didn't give it with the intention of saying that you are mine. Just a gift.
Like, she's not
What?
even trying to hide the fact that she's blushing.
Why? Is there a problem?
No, it's just... I don't want to get into it.
Are you sure?
Yes, Da Vinci, I'm sure. I have my reasons.
That's fine. You know me, I don't pry.
Yeah, it's just... I'm overthinking things. I'm going to bed. Have a good watch.
Okay then, have a good rest.
Alrighty then. On that note, I would like you to make your perception check for your watch.
Yeah, Da Vinci just confused. Sets up the same position he had last night. And just surveying around.
Alright. Perception 12. Let's see if anything happens during your watch.
Oh, great, I gotta refresh because I'm not really hearing the music.
I tried to make it a lot more quiet this
I
time.
don't think you have it playing.
I definitely do. I hear it.
Well,
You do have it playing, but I don't hear anything.
it is, like, way flippin' quiet.
Is that better?
I hear nothing.
Weird, I definitely have it playing.
Is it
Yeah.
called Clean Soul?
Yes, it's called Clean Soul.
My jukebox has currently nothing. It was there and it disappeared.
I just turned it off and started playing it again to see if that would help.
Now it's actually got the numbers moving this time.
Can you guys hear it now?
It's very quiet, but yes.
Well, I'm trying. This is also a very quiet track. When listening back to the VOD, the background music has been very loud, so I'm trying not to play it too loud going forward. All right. You don't really see anything in the course of your watch, Da Vinci. It's just seems to be a very peaceful night. The most you see is occasionally, like in far distance, silhouetted against the night sky, you do see like what appears to be a pack of some kind of furred creature running in the distance. You don't see much else other than that, though, and they're nowhere near your camp.
Well, with his watch coming to a close, just hop down, step over to where Keta set herself up. Just give her a nudge on the shoulder.
Alright.
So yeah, you have to go inside of the caravan. You find Keta currently with her head resting on Madame Elway.
Trying to not disturb Madame Elway.
She's looking at you the moment you enter the cart.
Oh no.
Okay then.
You don't actually know if Madame Elway has to sleep, to be fair.
Yeah, sure.
True. Come on,
Yeah,
Keta. Go time.
Okay, I'll be out in a minute. I'm gonna get up and push her way over to like the edge of the outside edge of the cart. Blanket kind of wrapped around her, very angry little kid style.
Question. Where has Morogon set herself up?
She would have definitely set up near the little caravan. It wouldn't be hard to find her.
Okay, driven like outside the caravan or inside?
Outside of it.
Okay. Da Vinci would set himself up nearby her, but like a few feet away.
I'm gonna climb up to where Da Vinci was sitting before with my blanket wrapped around me.
Alright, so you more or less just drag a blanket and groggily climb the ladder that leads to the top of the cart.
It's just like
Well, not
if
really a
anybody was
ladder,
really
but the various handholds on the outside of the cart that consist to make a ladder.
if anyone's to look, it's just a small bundle of cloth there with two little horns poking out.
Yeah. I think you guys would note, it is, as you are closer to the blue sands, this overbearing heat that you've been experiencing, because right now you'd be like on the cusp of the red into the purple. This overbearing heat you've been experiencing is a lot less.
It's colored sand. Colored sand, red for hot, and then you're going slowly transitioning into blue, and you get purple, so you get the in-between color between red and blue.
I mean, it's still hot, but now it's just like a normal desert right now, where it's hot in the day and cold in the evening.
Rather than just hot all the time.
Pretty much.
Should I roll my perception check?
Yeah, roll your perception. And I roll my probabilities. By the way, did anyone else notice that the dice roller actually has a D100 roll now?
Oh, wow.
Did it not before?
Not in my memory. At least not the last time I used it, which was a little over 2 weeks ago.
Huh. I never noticed it didn't have one.
15.
Damn, that's usually because I roll manually anyways.
Fair enough. Alright. Checking list. Your nightly watch also goes by relatively uninterrupted.
And probably go kick Failsy's foot to wake her up from underneath the cart.
Clunk.
I'm just gonna
Just Failsy headbutting the top of the cart.
That's your problem
Well-
for sleeping underneath the cart.
Fine. I'm getting up. She says, crawling out
No,
from under the cart.
I need to go back to bed, and she's just gonna climb back up into her spot and upset little kid who got woken up and had to be awake for 2 hours.
Very sad, tiny child.
She's very sad. She curls up with Madame Elway and a little pout.
Just get gentle head pats.
She signed up for the. Whatever.
All right, so Failsy, go ahead and make your watch. Are you doing it from the top of the cart?
Are people sleeping on top of the cart?
I don't think so, not right now. There were some last night, because that's where Javinci slept last night, but I think he's with Morrigan now, who is not on the cart. If I heard correctly, at least.
She is
Yeah,
not on
sure.
top of the cart. She's on the ground in her sleeping setup.
Alright, so yeah. There is no one currently on top of the cart, so you could get up there.
Okay, well, Failsy will sit on top of the cart then.
Alrighty then. Go ahead and give me a perception roll.
8.
Alrighty then.
Failsy's too distracted at the temple in the distance.
Yeah, you're just looking over at the temple and just thinking like, huh. It's probably the longest time you've been away from home since you first started living there. Getting like random memory flashes of your various experiences in the temple. Meeting Jamel for the first time. Just various little things that make you happy. But
Why did I leave there again?
they sent you away on basically an expedition to learn.
Alright. Business stuff. It just keeps it keeps being circular reasoning around her head, right? It's like, why did I leave again? Oh, right, that reason.
Pretty much. Just to discover more about the world that you actually, all in all, know fairly little about. But your watch 2 goes by uneventfully because I'm rolling very poorly on my probability table. There's not been a single event rolled yet.
The last person was Mythosia, right?
Yeah.
Brimstone.
Brimstone.
Where is Brimstone?
Probably just be sleeping outside.
Why do I picture Brimstone just hasn't left the sitting in the front seat position? He's just asleep while sitting up.
No. He's probably laying down there, though.
Fair enough. It's one of the only really cushioned seats you can sit on, so makes sense.
He's too creeped out to go inside because he doesn't want to be stared at.
Failsy gives Brimstone a soft shake.
Mm,
Your watch.
mm. Alright.
Yeah, no. Failsy just sort of falls back and goes to sleep.
Just face plants off the cart into sleeping. Alright.
Okay.
Brimstone, go ahead and give me your perception roll.
15.
Alright. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I have to roll something else now.
Okay.
Oh, goody, doggos.
Brimstone,
Mm,
during your watch, for the first hour or so, there is nothing going on. It's just complete and utter silence. Which normally would unnerve you, but this is a desert. There's not a ton of sound or things around to make sound.
right.
But then just towards the end of your watch, you start hearing a sort of scuttling sound.
Okay.
It's coming from off to the side of your guys' caravan, past one of the dunes that you'd previously crested over. You just like this shifting of sand and like almost sort of a clicking sound.
Okay.
What do you do?
I don't really want to go investigate that one myself. So I guess I'll wake Mulligan up because she hadn't taken a watch, I guess.
I will say, as a note, that there is one Madame Elway and two elves in the cart that technically have already gotten a complete rest.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So one can't really do anything right now.
I kind of don't want to move Elway. So I suppose I'll see if Trevor wants to help me investigate.
So basically just open the front gypsy door of the little wagon you guys have, and you can see that Treva is tending to Elavie, just making sure she's resting properly.
Mm-hmm.
Given the state of her existence right now, Elavie actually does need to sleep rather than just trancing.
Yeah.
But she does sort of give you a quick look up to see what you're doing as you open the front door. Just gives you a curious look.
I heard something. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to go investigate it alone in case it somehow gets me.
Fair enough.
Well, I don't exactly relish the thought of leaving Elvie alone. I don't really want to wake up anybody else.
You see Treva actually turns to Madame Elway. Do keep an eye on her, please. And Elway just sort of very slowly nods.
Mm-hmm. Just trying to move as little as possible.
Yeah, you get that sense. But yes, Treva is down to her underclothes at this point because hot.
Mm-hmm.
Does get up and head with you out of the cart.
Okay. Just gonna start heading that way.
So what did you hear?
Moving sand. Some kind of clicking sound. From what I know, I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about deserts. Kind of sounded like some kind of beetle, I guess.
Perhaps we will see. Alright, so you heard the sound effectively what would be just... and you heard this as a bit of an echo as well, so it's probably a few minutes away from your camp.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming you guys are going to attempt to stealth forward, or are you just walking forward?
I would like to attempt to stealth forward, yes.
Alright, go ahead and make a stealth roll.
Sure.
I'll give you advantage because cover of night and also sand.
Okay. Good fucking thing. 14.
And Treva got a natural 20.
Good for her.
Which ends up being like a 23 or something like that, if I remember her stats correctly.
Mm.
Alrighty then. So you guys are moving fairly stealthily. Treva is able to move incredibly stealthily because she's basically only wearing cloth right now.
Right.
And aside from that, just has a violin strapped to her back.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty then. I don't actually... I'd have to look, because I forget if Treva is the one with the violin. They all had different instruments. My brain is blanking.
I don't know.
I have the notes somewhere, but yes. You all are able to stealth forward relatively unnoticed, and by relatively I mean completely, because I like speaking in riddles. And eventually you do crest over the little hill dune that you had previously gone over. You do see the sands are almost boiling where you're looking at. As there's probably a good 30 to 40 dog-sized pill bug-looking creatures just like churning the sand.
Okay.
You're still probably a few, I'd say about 50 feet from where this is happening.
Uh-huh.
And you'd see, give me a perception check if you could see what they're circled around.
Okay.
DC for this is not very high.
14.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Okay.
Yeah, you see that they're currently churning around what appears to be some form of large, almost kind of looks like a crab, but it's weird and elongated. You actually, Brimstone would know what this is. It looks like a massive scorpion. And they are currently sort of like just churning and almost like piranhas devouring this creature.
Okay. I do not want to engage with this, as it looks like they're eating the giant scorpion alive, and I do not want to be next.
Hard to tell if it's alive or not, but it's certainly not going to be for very long if it is.
Yeah. They're devouring a giant scorpion, and giant scorpions have much harder flesh, or at least have an armored carapace. That
Yes.
I do not.
Yes, you just have the squishy soft innards are also your squishy soft outwards.
Exactly. So, just gonna back away.
We should probably keep an eye out for those. Make sure they don't come closer to the camp.
I agree, but I don't want to be any closer to this than we have to be.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'll help you with the rest of the watch and make sure that they don't somehow manage to sneak up on us.
Would be appreciated, yeah. I keep slipping down.
It happens.
That would be appreciated. I don't. Last thing we need are these things swarming us.
Alright. And so, with the two of you finishing out the watch, you don't see them again except for, like, the spare one or two that are making their way away from that feeding frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't moving towards your camp.
We just see them moving away.
Yeah. It seems like they're dispersing after having completely devoured that meal.
Okay. Just kind of stay.
After that, the rest of the watch, because that more or less is the rest of the watch, goes by uneventfully.
Okay.
Right, so everyone can come to consciousness, having gained the effects of a long rest.
In the morning, Keta will offer to do Failsy's makeup.
Oh, yes, please.
And if Morrigan wants to get in on this too.
Alright.
She would have no problem helping Keta in gussying Failsy up, but putting makeup on herself, it's too hot for her to do makeup.
You're going to a new place, so Keta has always been told you want to put your best foot forward and you don't want to look like you rolled out of a trash can.
Fair enough.
It's something her aunt has always told her. Makeup is a good start for that.
Was this aunt by chance the sex goddess?
Not
Not-
goddess, but yes.
He's very into stuff. But to, like, relationship stuff, like, soft stuff. I never...
Anyways,
Anyway.
she's very
As-
into
as-
all aspects of romance.
Ket is just putting, like, lipstick on Failsy. And he's going over a bump.
Alrighty then. I'm trying to think about what this would be in terms of checks.
Dex, maybe?
I'd say, because it's kind of like painting, I'll make this a sleight of hand check, and then since Morrigan is helping you, you have advantage.
Use my painter supplies. Painter supplies proficiency.
This is different.
Alright, so sleight of hand with advantage.
Yes.
16! Hey!
16, not bad, not bad.
Anything too elaborate.
Yeah, it's just somewhat simple, easy enough. Alright, so that's... Were you doing that while traveling on the cart or while getting set up in the morning? Like, when was that happening?
It basically getting kind of as they're getting up, getting ready, kind of stretching out, and because I didn't want to do it over bumps,
Gotcha.
have as much time as possible.
Just give Failsy the Joker smile.
No. It was nice and Failsy's hair.
Fair enough. Alright, so adds a little bit onto your travel time, since I imagine part of it was at least done before you started going in the morning. So, you're able to get on your travel, having Failsy nice and gustied up.
Yay.
And continuing forward, Brimstone, if you would, please make a vehicle handling check, since I'm assuming you're still the person driving.
Yeah, makes sense. Dex,
Yeah.
21.
Not even a problem. You just keep driving the cart forward. The horse was thankful for a night's rest. It's ready to go. Especially considering during the night it was actually cool, so it got a chance to cool off finally.
Yeah, it wasn't burning hot the whole time.
Yep. And you continue your path forward, reaching finally into the blue sands.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a particularly noticeable temperature shift during the daytime. It's still quite hot. But the sands themselves, if any of you guys are deciding to get out and walk, or whenever you have to stop to take a quick eat of something, or drink. Yeah, take a quick break of any sort of thing. You do notice the sands themselves are cool to the touch, despite the heat of the air.
Can I get a sample of blue sand?
Sure, it's easy enough. It's blue sand.
Now, blue and red sand.
Yes. You have a vial of sand that is red and feels warm to the touch, and a vial of sand that is blue and feels cold to the touch. Or rather, cool to the touch, I should say, not cold.
And this is home.
Yes.
A pretty home.
Yep.
Mm.
And it's getting close to about, according to the pocket watch, about 2 in the afternoon by the time you get within the range of the temple to get a good size of its scale. This massive pyramid, easily over 200 feet tall, just stretching far into the sky. It has these 4 pillars made of granite at each of its corners. The central pyramid itself is a bit odd in design. You see, it's not particularly odd to you, but to the rest of you, it's marble, but it's been painted with intricate patterns and runes. They give it a very strange and arcane. There are even portions of the temple itself where the marble is clear, or maybe it's not even marble. Almost looks like it's made of clear crystal or glass. It's just this massive temple. But you can continue forward, and you would see that centered in a, as I described before, a equally massive lake. As you get within probably about 400 feet of the temple, though, several armed guards with glass armor begin to approach you.
Oh, that's so cool. Fancy.
Brimstone's just like, huh.
Halt,
That doesn't-
state,
that
huh,
doesn't distract him.
halt, state your business.
Fowlsy just pops out of the side of the carriage.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't
just
recognize him.
Failsy.
Yeah. Go, Fancy.
It's like, hi, I'm back.
Oh no.
Gonna roll something real quick. They seem confused because they kind of stopped your guys' caravan quite a ways away. It's like there's definitely like a look of like recognition but uncertainty.
Just like, wait a minute.
We're a couple of travelers looking for some shelter in the desert, some supplies, as well as bringing back one of your locals.
Well, I'm just coming back for a visit. You're not planning on ditching me here, are you?
Oh no.
No.
When you mention bringing back one of the locals, one of these guards does appear to sort of like almost straighten up, just like, oh, hi, Scholar Felzy. Please, come with us.
Huh. Brimstone just never heard of that before.
Fowlsy jumps out of the carriage and follows.
You are ushered into and towards the temple. Currently, as you get closer to it, about within 100 feet or so, the entrance of this bridgeway that leads into the center point of the temple, you guys are being flanked on both sides by probably about 40 of these glass armored guards. It's almost like you're being presented as a procession.
Huh.
But yes, you are led forward, and Felzy, you are the guard that is currently sort of actually almost taking you hand in hand forward. Seems very excited, though you cannot currently see her face. It has been not that long, actually. How is your mission going?
Waylaid severely. The ship I was on didn't sink, but did get cut in half by a leviathan.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Why does she sound sad?
Just like the realization of just like, excuse me, what happened? Like we didn't expect anything like that to happen. That's not good. Oh god. Oh wait, you're okay, so that's fine.
So we ended up on Kingfisher Island.
You don't have much records of that place, but fair enough. Well, at least your quest for knowledge can bring us some knowledge of that island back then. Oh, how is High Scholar Alteria?
She is alive, but she has suffered some debilitating injuries for a while that should have her laid up for a while. She's in which port? I think it's Hornport, no?
I think it was
I-port.
Yeah, I-port was where you guys made landing the second time.
She's
Hornport's where you
currently
shipped
in-
out from the first time.
Yes.
She's currently in I-port.
All right, we can send word there. That should be easy enough.
Yes, she's currently in a full body cast.
There's definitely a look, like, even through the helmet, you could see, like, a look of contemplation of what that would look like. Considering Alteria is a UNT abomination, so...
Yeah, she's got the full snake.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What is your question? Tiny Keta?
No, that's Keta. That is Keta, like, calling out towards Failsy and the guard. So, I have a name.
I heard something name. You cut out a little bit on my side.
Hold on. Does this temple have a name?
Oh, of course. This is the Zamodis Temple. One of 5 in the regions. Well, not 5 Zamodis temples, but 5 temples in the region.
Is that like a family name or?
Yes.
Okay.
There's almost a chorus of yeses when you say, is that a family name?
Fair enough.
It's a big family.
Yeah, fair enough.
One of the largest.
Well, I grew up in a large family, but this certainly beats mine.
I mean, technically, I have a large family, but like the extended family.
Oh, well, this is a family made of those who wander to our walls and wish for guidance and acceptance. An adopted family, if you will.
If anyone looks at Keto, she's like, that sounds nice.
Yeah. Even Brimstone's just like, huh. Fair enough.
Yeah. Failsy, you know about this. Specifically, at least the Zamodis Temple, all who live within its walls for extended periods of time have the option to take upon them the last name Zamodis and be taken into the family of the temple. They aren't necessarily treated with the normal processes of Yuan-Ti and various forms of D&D where they're made into one. They're given the option to become one, but they're not made into one.
As evidenced by Failsy not currently being one.
Yes. It is purely optional to become a Yuan-Ti. Though it is required to be... It's usually required to be a member of high-standing society of the temple. Failsy is an exception for reasons.
Question. Are we going to be meeting someone like really important?
Well, you will at least be... I imagine you'll be introducing them to your wife, Failsy.
I'm
She
sure
is, of
Gemma
course...
would love to meet them.
Well, we've heard such stories, it would be a shame if we didn't.
Of course, of course. Shall I sound the welcoming horn and have her come out to greet you, or do you want this to be more of a surprise visit?
So,
I want to surprise her.
Very well.
Okay.
just Brimstone just mouthing.
You say that as you look over and towards the front entranceway of the temple, which, by the way, you guys have to go across about a 200-foot bridge to get to the front of the temple. You see this massive horn that's just on... 2 massive horns that are one on either side of the temple entrance. Both carved in very different ways. One carved with a sort of recurved fashion where it sort of spirals in on itself and is decorated with almost jovial depictions of a festival, and the other one that is a bit more jagged in design and is carved with depictions of battle. And is a lot more straightforward than the very spiral design of the other horn.
Brimstone just signal horns. Okay, that makes sense.
Of course, we have to make sure those who are entering the temple are well announced, be it for good or for bad reasons.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Are we entering with our entire party, or is our NPCs staying behind to stay with the cart?
The cart is being moved across the bridge.
Yeah, I wasn't aware if we had to get out, so I assumed that Brimstone was still driving.
Yeah, you guys are still in your cart being led forward with a procession of Some of them stayed back at the front entrance of the bridge, so there's probably still about 15 guards flanking around your cart.
Okay.
Da Vinci would have climbed up to the roof of the cart, just sit down cross-legged, seeing everything.
Yeah, you do look around you. And actually, from that vantage point, I'd like you to make a perception check.
Oh, certainly. A 9!
A 9! Doesn't really get you anything, unfortunately. Most you do see is that the other guards that are around your caravan cart, whatever you want to call it. Excuse me.
Uh-oh. Like some of the Elder Taurus.
Yes. Anyways, most of the guards around your caravan are, I want to say caravan, that's more than one wagon. My brain wants to say that word.
Carriage.
Yes,
It's-
around your carriage.
Yeah, it's because they start with the same word. I don't blame you.
They are all also wearing that weird glass armor, but notably, some of it's different colored glass. Like, the bulk of them are wearing a sort of blue glass, whereas the specific guard that's walking pretty much hand in hand with Felzy right now
Mhm.
is wearing purple glass.
Yeah, so the sand that they use to make the armor being different.
Yeah.
Huh.
You're not sure if that has any significance in terms of positioning or whatever, but that is what you notice.
It's neat.
Yeah. And also-
right.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, Da Vinci, you as someone who's also had some experience with the more finer works of designing when it comes to using glass in artwork, just because that would be something you've had experience to living in Tesvarel.
Mm-hmm. As well
There's-
as probably also started using stuff like glass for cheap jewelry.
Yeah. This glass...
Hello?
Hello?
Someone
No.
walked in my room, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was told that tacos are ready. I might have us take an early break so I can go get one in a second.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I'm hungry, I'm sorry, guys.
No. Go
No,
ahead.
don't
It's
worry about
it's
it.
tacos and potato skins. You take a potato skin, you fill it with taco meat. It's delicious.
DM needs food sometimes, man.
All right, but yeah. So a thing you notice, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I for some reason remember, doesn't Brimstone have glass blowing tools as a proficiency?
No, I do not.
Why do I remember that? I don't know why.
I don't know.
I feel like we jokingly mentioned you might take that at some point, but you didn't.
Or was that more of a patent thing?
Maybe that was a patent thing.
I don't think. Doesn't matter right now.
Okay, I don't know why I remember that. Still,
I
though.
don't know. Doesn't matter right now.
There's something about this glass that definitely, and you're not quite able to put your finger on it with, unfortunately, the low roll. It doesn't look like just normal glass.
Hmm. Uh.
Oh,
Da Vinci would. I'm assuming that the one wearing purple is kind of walking alongside the cart.
Slightly ahead of it because they're leading. Thalesy is essentially the spearhead of your guys' entrance to here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's not far ahead. She's probably about 10 feet or so ahead of the rest of the actual cart.
Okay.
Okay. Guess he'll get the attention of one of the guards walking along them.
All right, not hard to do. They are within 5 feet of your cart.
Pardon me, but couldn't help but notice your impressive of armor. You think it might be possible to get some stuff made out of purple glass here? Is that a possibility?
All right. This guard you lean down to is actually a slightly more built male guard. Pauldrons are somewhat spiked for some reason. Another thing you notice is every bit of this armor has different designs on it. Like, not a set of this armor is the same.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But he does sort of look up at you. Purple glass, you might have to speak to some of the higher-ups. But there's a chance you are traveling with one of the high scholars. Not to mention someone who is potentially in line to be part of the ruling group of our nice temple family here.
Just, yeah, just eyebrow raise.
Tell me more. Felzy is always one to absorb stories, but it's a little difficult to get some from her.
Well, one's business is their own. If she has not offered you these stories, then I'm not one to tell. However, once you meet her wife, I feel like you'll probably hear a lot of these stories, whether or not she wants them heard.
Ooh,
She's
looking forward to it.
She's a bit of a chatterbox.
I like the rhythmic way he said that. Even if it was unintentional, just chatterbox.
I'll explain reasoning for that after the game, because that's actually a speaking mannerism some of these people have.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
How?
Do you do a lot of work with... Does your people do a lot of work with glass?
Quite a bit. When it's one of the most abundant resources around you, and it produces very impressive material, it's well worth the refinement process.
And incredible designs. I would love to sit and chat with whoever made some of the designs on your armor.
Well, that would be up to the Crystallum. Which he says as if it is a proper noun.
Mm-hmm.
Like a position.
Oh, okay.
We of the Glass Blades are welcoming to their skills. You would notice that it is not only their armor made of this material, but the weapons they carry at their sides are also made of this material.
Well, I hope I get lucky then.
You talk about more ways than one.
Now, you
Certain-
don't comment here.
It's certainly possible if you play your cards right.
Well, you're speaking my language in more ways than one.
Right. You guys are getting pretty close to the front entrance of the temple now.
God damn the retro.
Oh, that reminds me. Some of our guests have some special needs.
And what would those be?
I know we're traveling towards Grainham to help out a couple of an elf with a torn throat. Maybe we could speed them along, to let them see one of our clerics.
We can certainly see if one of the high priestesses can help her. I cannot guarantee they can heal such a grievous injury, but it is certainly something they can take a look at.
I mean, anything would help, really. Even if it's just maybe making the future job a little easier.
Temporary comfort before the full healing happens.
Of course, of course.
And one of our members really does not take well to dry desert. If we could have her sit in a while she stays here?
Oh, that is certainly arrangeable. We've had many Trident visitors as of late. We have actually a couple of our mobility pools ready. Felzy, you would know about what this person's referring to. A mobility pool is effectively a giant enchanted fishbowl that has legs.
Oh,
That's amazing!
That's awesome. Oh my god.
It just
Now
sort of walks around.
That's great.
That's pretty good.
I want to see if I'm in one now.
Yeah. You definitely remember this, Fezzy. It's just like there's a lot of magical stuff in this temple, and most of it is made of glass. Glass is a very important resource in this temple. But yes. On that note, you guys are beginning to crest into the temple, and I think we're going to go ahead and take our break so I can go get some food. Anyone who wants to use the bathroom, go use the bathroom, and make sure everyone gets some drink.
Get you some seat.
Can
Get
do.
get some sip. I'm gonna go eat a potato filled with taco.
Get me some
'Cause, you
sip
know.
and let my dog outside.
Alright, I'm off to go get some drink.
All right.
Hello.
Uh,
Sorry, my internet decided to cut out for a good hot minute there.
yeah, I can
No
tell.
worries. We've
Okay.
just been quiet as I'm near passing out.
Hello.
Hi, Lo.
This entire time, Kat is just now gonna cling to the side of Lee as they go inside because she's terrified.
Well,
I've been nothing but cordial.
People who are overly nice kind of terrify her.
So what is Lee terrifies her.
Yeah, I was like,
Not for me. Can't catch the part of what I'm understanding is.
That everybody terrifies all of you, or at least unsettles you all, and yet
At some parts.
her and her group of people she hails from do nothing but good.
yeah. I mean, at this point, Brimstone is kind of like, okay, maybe I'm being the dick here.
It's just like they're just weird.
Yeah, they're just kind of not what Brimstone is used to.
The societal norms that Keta has been raised in, it's just weird.
Yep. And when you think about it, technically only the couple weeks travel away from her home is where they are right now.
No.
So you wouldn't think the society would be that different.
You wouldn't think.
But, like, you're also in the middle of a desert.
Yep, middle of a magic desert
Magic.
Yeah.
that most people
We do
don't.
magic.
That most people choose not to go through.
Oh boy, I wonder why.
Now Keta can actually tell her dad, I went around a desert, and then I went through the desert. Snake people.
Oh, just to note, Ash,
Some drugs.
Yes.
I did post
saw.
in the game chat. Okay.
I saw that's. I remembered slightly wrongly, but if you guys did have to take shifts that were longer than 2 hours, that would still make the rest a lot longer. Because then that person would have to sleep longer to make up for the longer watch period.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fair. I wasn't disputing that, just more the 10-hour short rest. I didn't know if that was a thing for your world or
It's just a thing that I see in a lot of other games based on the fact that normally it's a lot harder to get a long rest than what you guys have been experiencing so far.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's not going to stay that way.
I figured.
Things will start trying to eat you.
I mean, yeah.
okay, Joy.
You know, it wasn't always going to be sunshine and rainbows forever.
You're in the desert of rainbows, though.
That's
Yeah.
Yes, so technically it's all sunshine and rainbows.
Literally.
Try to eat you.
Yep. Is everyone back?
I just got back.
Okay, Denny's back. Failsy, you there? I'll take the silence as a no.
So,
Alright.
no, we're not all back.
I could have inferred that answer, Mythosia.
Yeah, but...
Good, I can keep eating.
Yeah, there you go. That's one way to look at it.
they are back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Got to eat one potato skin. Delicious, but hard to eat because very hot.
Yeah.
That's something I haven't had in a while. Like potatoes.
They're delicious. They're the best thing in the world.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
I've
It's hard
eaten them.
finding. It's just hard to find big potatoes.
Hmm.
Yeah, see, I don't have that problem.
We don't have
We
a,
live in the country
green-
where potatoes are a big thing.
To be fair, I also live in the state that does most of the potatoes.
Idaho.
Yeah.
We don't have a big greengrocer nearby, so we have basically whatever Woolworths or the big chains can have,
Yeah.
which is usually bags of small potatoes
Mm.
because it's easier to make kilos out of them.
I'm back.
I mean,
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
small potatoes aren't bad.
You just need to eat more of them.
The fuck?
Yeah, but we want to make a baked potato and then cut
Yeah, that's
it
fair.
and
That's
then
fair.
stuff it full of stuff.
Yeah. That's
No,
fair.
here's how you do it. You make the baked potato by using 2 smaller potatoes,
You mash
and then you
it.
just sort of mush the ends together when you slice them both in half. You eat it like a corn cob or something. I don't know.
I mean, I guess.
Potato on the cob?
Yes. Excuse me.
Suddenly disappeared. Just give me a few minutes, then
What?
Okay.
continue on. So it just my internet decides to go out occasionally. It's like, all right, let's go. You just have to wait for it to reset itself.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said.
Are you good for us to continue, or do you need us to wait for a little bit longer?
No, I'm good for you to continue.
All right. Soon, potato skin. Soon. They'll start RPing, and then I'll be able to eat all of you.
Ah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
In other words, only RP with the NPC, so he has to keep talking.
I mean, there's a lot of NPC RP coming up, so it's not that surprising.
Yeah.
I gotta stop burping.
Yeah. Every time you do it, I think you're about to just throw up.
No, probably not. Anyways,
I didn't
so
figure you were, but
big thing I need you guys to do.
yes.
Everyone roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy.
Oh, great.
Just do it,
Everybody's?
everyone, except for you, Fazly.
Okay.
Ah, fuck.
Hey, I got pretty good.
5.
15, not bad.
All right. Fazly, you don't have to because you're used to this. So you can either choose to pass or succeed at your will. As
what is it?
as the temple doors open up, there is a strange, almost sort of perfumed scent that wafts over all of you.
Been in temples before.
Well, probably,
Um,
but not this temple.
And Morrigan and Brimstone, you feel a little weird, like warmer than usual,
Mm-hmm.
which is especially strange for someone like you, Brimstone, who is used to constantly being in a state of on fire.
Yeah.
You feel warm, and you don't know why. But yes, you all are ushered inside, and what you see as you enter is a very nice entry hall. There is a massive multicolored carpet that's just covering the floor of what would normally just be like a marble hall. You see probably a good 30 to 40 other, you would identify them now as Yuan-Ti, but purebloods, just sort of busying themselves around, some of them ferrying baskets of material back and forth to different places of the temple. It's almost sort of a Greco-Roman type feeling on the inside, where while the outside is a massive pyramid, which I think I forgot to mention, this does not have an actual tip. It has a cut-off top. And you can see why, as you are looking forward, is that the temple leads forward into this massive entryway with columns on either side of you into a open courtyard where you can see the light from the top of the temple shining down onto a garden with a fairly large pool in the center of it. We're talking a good 50 by 50 pool in the center of this garden. We just see various UNT walking up to these tables that are set around it in the actual like flowering garden section of it, and they appear to be setting up a banquet of some sort.
Oh, okay.
But your guy's cart is stopped short of actually getting onto the carpet proper because
Mhm.
they don't want dirty horse hooves and sand being tracked onto the carpet.
Mhm.
And you
Once
actually
it gets
see,
packed in there, it's a pain to clean.
yes, you actually do see that, and Felzy, you're used to this process. As you're brought inside, there is this entry hall I've just described, but for the first 40 feet or so, there's a place where you all are stopped, and there are several UNT that just rush up to you, whether you want them to or not, set you down in a chair, and begin scrubbing your feet clean.
Okay.
What? Okay.
Oh, wait.
And the same thing is being done to your horse and your wagon wheels.
Yeah,
This is weird.
Yeah, Brimstone just, wait.
I mean, I'm not usually into that kind of stuff.
Keeps the carpet
Reason for
clean.
this.
That makes sense.
Besides probably housekeeping. Off your shoes and all, but
I mean,
Is
they
it
don't
just so
like
you don't
remove your shoes. They're like cleaning your shoes.
Yeah.
And they're cleaning your shoes in like the lower part of your leg. Which
Okay.
Morrigan and Brimstone, which it feels weird when they're doing it to you.
Is it because they wear armored boots?
No.
No, it's for a different reason.
It's because of the perfume.
But yeah. But yeah. Felzy, you'd know this is just because the temple is kept very clean at all times. It's considered a holy place after all. So, obviously they don't want you tracking sand inside.
Can I make some sort of religion check of like what the fuck's going on?
Sure.
Because Kekta knows about ceremonies and shit like that, so like it's sort of in a realm of knowledge, but
Yeah, go ahead.
hold on.
You're thinking about it. This doesn't necessarily pertain very clearly towards the temples you're used to. Mostly because Graynham being a god of nature, the sort of grime of the earth is not necessarily an unwelcome thing among his followers. Like, they're expected to be clean, but his holy places are places of nature. So, it's not necessarily always like a spick and shine type area in them.
A little dirt is expected.
Yeah. But even though none of the religions you're particularly accustomed with practice this sort of cleanliness, you can kind of understand the reasoning behind it.
Huh.
And it almost more reminds you of your own father keeping
shoes
the
off.
keeping the house clean. And it does sort of flash back into your memory that they refer to themselves as a family. Like, this is a home.
Okay. Kekta now immediately understands with the whole just, take shoes off, leave them by the door, don't fucking track mud in my house.
Something that Brimstone has probably heard many times.
Pretty much. But yeah. It's about a 5-minute process to do this. They're very quick about it. And while they're not exactly gentle, they're not rough either. This is a very methodical, they do this quite often practice.
Belza still has to giggle at it because she's barefoot.
Pretty much.
It just tickles for her.
You know, the only person they don't do it to is the guard that you guys were walking with. Then you notice that guard has absolutely no sand stuck to their armored boots.
Okay.
Sand doesn't stick to glass?
It is enchanted in such a way to repel dirt and grime.
Convenient.
Is there a color ranking going with titles that we should be aware of so we don't insult somebody by addressing them by the wrong title?
The color of one's armor is simply indicative of their point of origin. It does have a bit of a ranking associated with it, but it's essentially the further out we have to go to acquire that color of sand, the higher ranking officials are granted that type of armor.
Oh, kind of like when I get my paint and then you get the really kind of rare colors and then you don't use them as much.
Exactly. More effort means more value. More value means higher rank.
The most important person gets the most important color.
So what colors would those be?
Dr. Ventura, you're gonna say what color is wood? Just like what?
Green sand tends to be fairly rare to come about. It's further towards the actual border with Graynum, so that tends to be of a fairly high ranking.
Fancy, we're going that way. We can get some green sand for your family.
We could, but that mean it would have to be on the way back if we ever come back this way.
Yeah.
It'd still be not a nice gesture to at least send back some green sand.
You do
What?
intend to come back, don't you, Felzy?
I do intend to come back. I just mean in the next direction we. You know what I mean? When I compare words.
I understand. You saw that there was definitely a moment where there is an obvious tension of just if we ever come back this way and just worry, and then I am coming back, don't worry, and just relief.
Well, you mean more whether you'll come back with the group of us or on your own?
Well, once we're done with whatever's over in Graynham.
I mean, it's not just
If we
Graynham we
come
have to
back
go
in
to.
this direction, do we go back through the desert or through the...
And that's something to be decided at the time it needs to be.
Very fair. Well, all of you are properly cleaned and ready to walk our halls. Is there anywhere in particular you'd like for us to show them, Felzy? Or should we just take you straight to see your wife?
Don't think there's anywhere Felzy knows. Well, at least
Besides
I
the
don't.
baths.
Any ideas?
Well, there's places like the actual royal baths, which you would have access to, and thus you'd be able to get them access to, which are a multitude of things. There's the archive, which you'd be able to get them access to. You would be able to grant them access to the under kingdom, which they would not know anything about, but you know that is essentially the structure that's under the temple.
What's there?
The entirety of the Yuan-Ti society.
Okay, so...
It's the actual kingdom.
Ah.
Which is weird if anyone else were to think about it and you told them that, considering this whole temple is built on a lake. But who knows what's under there? And if you asked about this, you'd hear that Jamel is currently in a meeting. The language is a bit confusing for anyone else, considering at this point, this guard starts speaking in the actual Yuan-Ti language, which I don't think anyone else knows other than you.
It would be weird if any of us.
Fair enough. Basically explaining to you that she speaks in this way because she doesn't exactly want outsiders to know about it, for obvious reasons. Basically, Jamel is currently in a royal hearing with her mother to discuss certain aspects of your religion. This guard would basically let you know that there was recently a stir of something in the cosmos, and that has caused some interest and concern among the temple's higher rankings.
Well, in that case, how about we grant my companions access to the Undercity so they take stock of get to know the place and maybe find some wares to sell.
Very well, we can certainly do that.
And I will go find my wife, who's currently in a meeting.
Don't forget about the thing for Madame Elway and
And she gives a quick clap, which sounds a bit strange with glass armored gauntlets. It's very that sound that glass makes when you clack it together.
Yeah. Brimstone just kind of winces, expecting it to break.
It doesn't even crack, doesn't even chip.
Huh.
Elevate.
Yes, getting her seen by a priest might be at least helpful. If we could at least...
Priestess.
Thank you for correcting me. Priestess. That would be helpful. If at least could potentially get her the ability to talk, would go a long way.
Currently, this guard is speaking to one of the handmaidens that had previously vigorously scrubbed your all's feet down. Seems to be arranging for one of those walking tubs to be brought forth, since that's what you mentioned first.
Yeah.
But if you were to say anything about having a priestess, she can also arrange that.
I mean, that would be good.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Alright, so both of those things are being arranged, and in the meantime, you guys are all cart, and your cart is taken off to the side, basically into a little carrying pen for your horse, who is very grateful to be receiving proper and full, like, having his horseshoes taken off, being brushed out entirely, like every ounce of sand being removed from his body.
Spa day for the horsey.
Yes, he's loving it. It's been kind of rough on that horse. They're very sturdy beings. A lot sturdier than a normal horse, but they do get tired still. It's a horse with 40 HP. It's a lot sturdier than a normal horse. Alright. You were going to say something? Or were you just breathing?
I was about to ask, just, are Morrigan and Brimstone still feeling weird?
Yeah. It's not going away. It's actually slowly getting... Well, not worse. You actually feel good. It's weird. You don't feel bad. You don't feel wrong. You just feel weird.
Off.
Yeah. Morrigan, you know how to identify this feeling probably a little bit easier than Brimstone does.
Oh!
Yeah.
Mmm.
Yeah, I got it. It's just Brimstone is just like...
Get to maybe make an insight check on Brimstone Morgan to see if they're okay.
Sure. I don't know if either of them are trying to hide their discomfort. Meanwhile, Elway is loaded into one of those tubs, and it does look as hilarious as you imagine.
She expand a little bit.
She doesn't really expand, but her robes basically fill the entire tub, so you just occasionally see her head poke out of them.
She's like a very, very big, very fancy beta fish.
Pretty much.
I have 2 separate ones for them.
2 separate whats?
Insight checks.
Oh, just make one.
16. Pretty good.
And are either of you trying to hide it, or...
I mean, Brimstone doesn't hide things well.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Morrigan would be trying to hide this.
Then go ahead and make a deception check with advantage because it's not very strong yet.
Okay. That would be a 23.
Oregon just seems kind of fidgety. Nothing else really seems wrong. Brimstone seems uncomfortable, but given the situation, it kind of makes sense.
Both the situation and who Brimstone is as a person.
It just seems uncomfortable.
Can
I
Da
say-
Vinci insight Morgan as well?
Sure. Same. Honestly, she doesn't seem any different to you. Just Morgan.
I'll go on Brimstone's sleeve and go, are you okay? Do you need to sit down?
Don't worry about it.
No, I need to worry about it. You seem way too relaxed for it right now.
Yeah, I know.
You look candy if you want.
No.
Keep forgetting Ken has those. All right. In the meantime, you guys are being brought forward. At one point, one of them does turn off with Treba and Elevi, and they are led in a different direction than where you guys are being led. Spatial. Yep. Spatial awareness does make you guys sort of aware of the fact you're being led to one of the corners of the temple, towards one of the large granite pillars that are on the outside. You're led into it, and the inside of it is actually, oddly enough, a platform on a pulley system. You are lowered down it at actually a fairly rapid pace, to the point where some of you who have never experienced this before, you definitely get that like butterfly feeling in your stomach of, oh no, I'm dropping. But you never quite lift off the platform into the air. And Failsy, you know this feeling well enough to be completely unbothered by it.
This is all
And-
normal.
Yeah. You go down... Sorry,
It's okay.
what were you going to say?
Kenta just says, it's not really normal for me.
No. And you're the only one who's flew. Alright, so it's 10 feet, still granite on the outsides of the walls, 20 feet, still granite, 30, 40, 50. You get about 60 feet under where the bottom of the temple, as you imagine it would be, would end. And suddenly the column around you is clear. You're just underwater in this crystal clear pillar, being slowly but surely lowered further down. And
Can't say I've ever seen something like this before.
does anyone want to take a look around, see what they see?
Yeah.
Of course.
Make perception checks.
Perception.
Great.
6.
12.
I saw that 23 and got excited.
Not 20.
16.
Alrighty then. Morgan, you're a little distracted for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Da Vinci, you're distracted for other reasons. More or less still looking over the amount of architectural know-how and skill it would take to create glass of this scale. Like, just that in of itself just has your attention fully. As you're trying to figure out how could they have done this. Meanwhile, Keta and Brimstone...
Brimstone is looking around to distract himself from the feeling.
Yep. Meanwhile, Keta is just a interested baby.
Yep.
You both look around, and you look in different directions, I'm going to say, so there's two different things seen here. Keta, you look inwards towards where the temple, like the underneath of the temple would be, and you see a massive light. Just this giant upside down facing pyramid of crystal centered underneath the temple, which you're not sure of its purpose, but you're thinking that might make an Arcana check, actually. See if what you can potentially gather. You're pretty sure that's probably what's making this massive stone structure float on the water.
Oh.
It's probably somehow a giant stone enchanted with levitate.
Ketch will say out loud, that is the most interesting arcane focus I have ever seen.
Yeah. Meanwhile, underneath that, and you can see rapidly approaching the bottom of the tube you're currently in, a massive, almost ant tunnel-esque structure of these interconnecting glass tubes and orbs. And it's just an entire city laid out in a multi-layered structure of glass. Almost think about a mad scientist chemistry set with all those interconnecting glass tubes and filters.
Kinda like
It's a city that looks like it's just made of one of those.
Question: Is this Gungan City?
I don't know enough about Star Wars to know that reference entirely.
It's an under.
It's a giant underwater city filled with glass domes.
Yeah.
Kind of that, but with none of the metal structuring or anything. This is purely made of glass.
Oh, wow.
Feeling a
That's
bit
what-
anxious. Ketch will just kind of scoot back towards her favorite orc.
Lee, who is currently just sort of just like staring forward into the water, just like,
Oh, no.
not particularly used to being underwater in this way.
I'm used to being on top of it.
Yeah. On top of it or swimming through it, not being in a giant glass dome inside of it.
Right.
I'm not used to being able to see this and breathe at the same time.
Right.
He is. Meanwhile, Brimstone, you were looking the other way.
Oh boy.
You're looking out into the expanse of water away from the temple,
Mm-hmm.
and you just see something massive go past your field of vision. It's almost so fast that you don't even catch it. But the fact that it's moving so fast and you managed to see it for as long as you did gives you some inkling of how big it had to be. Make a survival check with advantage because you rolled a natural 20.
Okay. 9.
It was big.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Just kind of wanting to reflexively go for the gun, but not wanting to look hostile. Just kind of lean over to Failsy and just... So what's in the water?
Fails his knowledge of what's in.
It's Mom.
Mom's in the water?
Just look at her. Just look at Failsy like, the fuck? What the? Given... no, actually.
Meanwhile, you guys are now at the bottom of this pillar, being basically led through a semi-airlock type structure of, as one might expect, glass doorways. This whole place is constructed of glass.
Taller are the tubes.
Probably... This entryway tube is probably about 10, 12 feet tall. It's not massive, but it's definitely made to accommodate some of the larger Yuan-Ti that walk through these places.
Only asking because we do have a very large fellow with us.
Lee's actually not that big compared to some of these people here.
Yeah, that's true. He's bulky, but he's not long.
Yeah,
Or tall,
like-
rather.
So it's like me in a building that's actually made to fit me or people bigger than me.
yeah, actually. Not too many bigger than you, but people around your size.
Yeah, where it's like, finally, I have headroom. I can move around.
Yeah, you'd actually be able to like stick your arm at full extension upwards and not touch the ceiling. Lee, to his credit, is also all seemingly thinking the same thing, just like, oh. Like, he's almost... You don't even need to really make an insight check for this. Lee is at a loss for words right now.
Aw.
He's just so stunned by everything around him.
I know the feeling, big guy.
I'm gonna tell him to just touch the ceiling with a finger because it's to just have him relish in the moment.
No, he can't even reach up and touch the ceiling. It's that high.
Yeah, he's probably just like, this is new.
Cat is just very delighted in joining in his oddness.
Yes.
Because she's 5 foot, everything's huge to her.
Fair enough. Alright, you guys are led forward. I forget, Failsy, remind me really quick, what did you say you want them to be led to other than just the Undercity? Archives and the Royal Bath are down here. Other rooms that you probably shouldn't lead them to.
Yeah, probably not.
If they want to use the bath, I guess that you can go there. I think Keto wanted something in the archives.
Alright.
Or
You can always have the guard that's leading you around split off and lead everyone else to the baths. You can also show them to bedding for the night. Meanwhile, you can lead Keta to the archives.
Fauzi, I think, needed to go find Jamel and Mom.
Fair enough.
They were having a meeting, so this was kind of a distract everyone else while
Failsy do her thing.
Fauzi finds them and not interrupt the meeting.
Alright.
I don't want to split off to go to the archives until she's talked with somebody who's at the temple and at least knows a bit more and can actually be there with her because she doesn't want to be there alone.
Fauzi can show you that afterwards.
Yeah, so she'll just go to the she'll baths.
Alrighty then. So everyone's heading to the bathhouse.
And
We are bound to have this at some point.
At some
Welcome to the
point.
bathhouse!
is it a communal bath or is it like gender separated?
We'll
It is
find
a
out.
communal bath. As you guys are led to this place, you see a lot of Yuan Ti moving around here. At this point, a lot more of the Yuan Ti that are like what you remember when you saw Alteria. So a lot more of abominations and half-breeds, rather than the purebloods you were seeing mostly upstairs. So a lot more snake-like features down here, though there are still the occasional pureblood or the straight-up not Yuan Ti walking around.
Mhm.
You would notice that everyone has some semblance of glass up in their wear, be it as jewelry or as armor. There's definitely a sense of it's a very important substance to these people.
Like how wood is to us.
Yeah, how wood would be to your wood/metal would be to where you come from. Glass is the material here. Or if how you went to the Blossom Kingdom, it would be crystal.
Or about Tezverel.
Tezverel is like precious metals, not just iron.
We love gold.
Well, gold, silver, platinum,
Yeah, I was just
specially treated cobalt.
I was just making a joke,
Fair enough.
but fair enough. Yeah, good.
Tezverel has a lot bigger variety of metals, but not quite as much of any particular thing, whereas Granum has a lot of iron.
That's what we're good at.
Random has more of the practical metals, while Tesferel has more of the shiny shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Really not.
Yes. Is there anything you guys want to keep on the lookout for, or do you just want to progress forward?
Just like depending on where we're set to be like, okay, you guys go strip down here. It's just like who's joining us?
For now, it's just your guys' group, and the guard leading you forward. It's you guys' group and the guard leading you forward who appear to be led into the bathhouse and given an opportunity to strip. You are given the option to either take a towel or to not take a towel. It's a very nice silk towel. Very soft. Doesn't seem like it would be very absorbent, but it is.
Out of pure, just like, alright, I happen, so Keta will take a towel and then she will just kind of strip down to then in a proper area where she is directed and go in the tub.
Fair enough. And retroactively, by the way, was there anything anyone else wanted to keep on the lookout for while being led to here? Because this is you would find out that there's essentially one of these, the corner of the down structure. So every corner of the Undercity has one of these next to the entrance to it.
So Da Vinci would have been keeping an eye out for two things. One place that looks like it would be where they would be able to sleep, and the other would be a marketplace.
Alright. And you can also just ask the guard leading you forward, by the way, about those types of things. Sleeping arrangements we can certainly have done. If you're looking for a marketplace, there's not so much a trade of coin as there is a trade of labor. You're with some powerful company, though, so I imagine much of your resources, should they not be too extravagant, we can simply provide for you. Though if you do wish to leave donations of coin, we always accept them. It makes it better for dealing with the outside kingdoms, on the rare occasions where we do.
Well, I do have some things that we might find equal trade.
Very well.
But I think that'd be for a discussion for tomorrow.
Very well. It is shortly afternoon, but I can understand if you're tired from your journey. Yep. At this point, it'd be cresting right around 3:30 if you looked at your pocket watch. Just because the last bit of the trip inwards and then the discussion upstairs, getting everything sorted out there.
Yeah, Da Vinci wouldn't be looking at the pocket watch while there's a bunch of people around.
I mean, pocket watches are not an unheard of device, you just have a very fancy one. But fair enough.
I thought you said that clocks don't go that small when we first pulled it out.
We haven't seen it. At least that's how I interpreted it.
Let me say it this way then. Your type of pocket watch is very fancy because it's so small. There are things that someone could actually still carry around, they'd just be very impractical.
Oh,
It's like jewelry box sized watches.
I'm assuming he's not pulling it out because Failsy keeps like sidling towards him.
You're in a completely different part of the temple.
Okay.
You're not with the party right now.
Okay.
Because you specifically said a second ago that you were branching off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to find.
Sorry, my brain is admittedly slightly tired right now.
Okay.
So, when I mean other types of small clocks are available, it's things you'd have in a bag, not in your pocket.
So, okay, so when they get to the bath, and can just kind of sit off to the side for a bit. Da Vinci would check out the watch like, wait, afternoon? It's kind of hard to keep track of time down here.
Yeah, you would remember by the time you had gotten within the distance you had first been. Basically, someone had walked up to you from in the temple. It had been about 2 in the afternoon. And by now, it's almost 3:30.
Well, this would be the first time Da Vinci would looked in the at the watch.
Okay, fair enough. Alrighty then. But yeah. So you all are... But what?
Sorry. But after checking out the watch and noting something a little different about it.
Yeah, it's changed since the last time you looked at it.
He's gonna make a mental note to check that out later. And of course, strip, set aside a towel, and just hop in the bath, no towel on.
Perfect. By the way, this bath is a little bit on the warm side, but a fairly comfortable temperature.
Is that in relation to Da Vinci?
It's in relation to what most people would have the average bath temperature at.
Okay. So for Brimstone, it's like...
Brimstone, it's still kind of cool to you.
Are there dividers to change behind, or is it just fully, like...
Drip right in front of everyone.
You're getting...
in general.
There are dividers that one could pull out of the wall in this area, but you notice that when you pull it out, there's not really dust, but there's sort of a creak to it, like it probably hasn't been used in a long time.
I won't try that because I don't want to break something important to a temple.
No, it pulls out just fine. It's just like the sound of movement that probably hasn't been done in a long time. Which
it needs a bit of boiling.
Yeah. By the way, this is the first time you're starting to see some things made of wood or metal. Because this has like actual rollers, and most of the structure is made of wood. It just seems like the external structure is all glass.
This is an important thing I forgot to ask about. Is there just dividers, or like are we just changing in front of each other?
That's what I just answered your question. There are dividers you can pull out of the wall to be able to change by yourself.
Alright, cool.
So I'm guessing she has herself a towel for bathing. Does a minor walk of shame, despite the fact she is still covered.
But still, it's like her uncle's there, and then it's just a lot of other people.
Yeah, that's fair.
The person who's actually seen her naked. But.
Which, by the way, the moment anyone looked away from Lee, he's in the tub.
Did he just full on like run into the tub?
His clothes are like neatly folded off to the side, but he's just in the tub.
Just basically the moment anyone looked away, he teleport strips.
Oh god.
Breathe.
I'm just gonna have Ketch to sit on like the other side of the tub away from him.
And by the way, the two people who've already gotten in this tub would notice this, so Javinche and Lee would be the first ones to get in it. The water is not clear. It's sort of like a milky white color.
Like a mineral bath.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like to me anyway. Sorry.
It's all good. For the sake of stream, yes, it's a mineral bath. This temple has very specific things going on. You guys need to understand this.
Yeah.
I have questions for after stream.
It's life of luxury temple.
Yeah.
Constantly. I have particular questions after stream.
Oh boy.
It is mineral water. I'm just joking with you guys.
Okay.
That's a different part of the temple.
Because there would be a heavy pause for Ketchup getting in the tub. It's just like out the edge and then just looking over. You know what? Fine, I'm going in.
Basically, what you guys are getting into, it is sort of like an opaque water. It's not weird implications. It is literally just clouded water.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Has
so
a-
basically anything below the water line is hidden.
Yes. The power of censorship water.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, there'd be issues.
Yeah.
Yes. There's also occasionally like bubbles that come up in the water, and you notice that around those bubbles, the water is hotter.
Da Vinci will sit close to where the bubbles come out.
Fair enough. But you all are able to get yourselves a rather nice bath, and if there are any conversations that are wanted to be had, think about them as I'm going to skip over to Failsy. So, Failsy, you're used to navigating the various tunnels and pathways of this temple. You've lived here for a considerable number of years.
Yeah, was it first left 13th right, or...
No, it's first left, then you go down this spiraling loop-de-loop thing that's basically a water slide. It's designed for snakes to slither down, but you sort of just slide down it because it's fun. Then it's the 13th right.
Ah, right.
But yes, you're able to find your way towards a part of the temple that is no longer made... the part of the Undercity temple that is no longer made of clear glass. It is actually made of an opaque purple glass, which, you know, for reasons, has always been a color that is, though not a hard color to achieve with the sand smelting that is done here, it's always been a color of significance because it is the color of the Zemotus family. So, not particularly hard to achieve, but culturally it has significance. You find your way into there, and you do hear a bit of a raucous discussion going on. You hear Jamel's voice. She seems to be... You know her pretty well. She doesn't sound concerned. She sounds more annoyed with the situation. Like, almost she's been told something that she doesn't necessarily believe is true. But you can hear someone who is adamantly, like, saying that this has happened, that this is a thing, and you do recognize the voice as Iza, who is one of the high priestesses of the Zemotus Temple. Iza, Eyes of the Moon.
Can I get a write out of that name, or...
Yeah, Iza, Eye of the Moon. I am... But as you're approaching, you do hear them suddenly stop as one of the a guard's voice suddenly interrupts Iza, and basically you hear them say, "We need a high priestess to come look at a traveler who has come to our walls. Please come with me." And begrudgingly, you can hear a sound of acceptance, and then Jamel just sort of making a huff as the room suddenly goes silent. It's at about that time where you'd reach the door.
Is Iza coming out through the door that I've arrived at?
Yeah. She's being let out basically past you, and almost seems like she doesn't notice you. Must because, you know, she might actually not. She's a very keen woman, but she constantly wears a blindfold. So you've always had like a thing in your head of like, can she tell you that? Can she tell you you're there? Can she see without her eyes? Like, what's going on there? you're still not 100% on the significance of that in the religion, since you're still a little new to being introduced to it.
Yeah, Felsy's been tempted to try and poke fun at her behind her back, but not game enough.
Yeah, it especially considering every time you start to say something about her behind her back, she like unseeingly glares at you. You get the sense maybe she has very keen hearing. But yeah, the door is open currently, though it is slowly starting to swing closed.
Felsy's gonna slip inside.
All right. Yeah, you do just hear Jamel now turning back and looking towards a massive pool in the center of the room. I just do not understand, Mother. Why is she like this? She insists that there is ruin coming to the temple, but I do not sense these things approaching. It is so strange.
Oh, come on, I'm not that ruinous.
She jumps. Like, scared jumps. Just like,
Oh.
what? And
Aw.
sort of like pivots around and looks towards you. Just, you could see the sparkles just lighting up her eyes.
Oh, that's such a wonderful.
Fizzy!
Jamel!
Yeah, she just sprints towards you. Like, full on boar charging its prey sprints at you. It's like the second of, oh no, this giant woman is rushing at me, and then you remember, oh, it's Jamel. And you just sort of have to open your arms as you're tackled into a hug and just spun up into the air.
It's more terrifying because she's bigger than me.
Yeah, she's a lot bigger than you. Jamel is easily 8 feet tall.
Big snake lady.
She has biceps easily the size of your waist.
Damn.
She's very strong.
Damn.
Also, Faisley is fairly thin.
That's true.
So yeah, she just sort of picks you up and does a full-on spinning hug. You hear a pot get flung off to the side as her tail smashes into it and sends it flying. She just doesn't care. She just sort of pulls you in, just starts kissing your face, just rapidly.
Felsy returns in kind.
It has only been a month, but it feels like so long. How have you been? How's your travels? Why are you back so early? Not that I mind, but...
Turns
Did
out I
something
went in
go
the
wrong?
wrong direction. Now I need
Oh?
to go in the other direction, towards Granum.
Right? I mean, you're seeking knowledge, so there's no wrong direction. But fair enough.
That
You-
and my boat sank.
Oh, no, that's not good. Are you okay? And she starts just, like, looking over you.
Well, it technically didn't sink, but it did get bisected.
That's worse in a lot of ways. And more terrifying? You're alright though, yes? You're alright?
Yeah, not a scratch.
Well,
Actually,
I could
looking
certainly...
over her battle log, it's like, no, she didn't get hit once.
Well, you have taken some damage. It's just not damage that you've taken in battles.
Pretty
You'd have
much.
taken ambient damage from the ship crashing.
Yeah, it's like,
Not a scratch.
Well, I could see a few new scratches, but nothing that won't heal. I assume you are the reason why High Priestess Izo was just called away? Did you bring people with you?
Yeah, I have some friends. One of them's the captain of the ship that was destroyed mostly.
She like sets you down and just like starts tapping her fingers together. Oh, you have friends! It is good to hear you have friends, and a captain no less.
Well, not really that close with the captain, but one of my friends offered them passage to Grainham to heal up their throat because it got slashed out during the.
She covers her mouth. Oh no!
Yeah, it was a whole big thing.
Well, I'm sure Azea will be able to help. Honestly, yes, I would probably be better, but they're both currently indisposed at the moment with their seeing. But we can certainly help them. But you have friends. I would very much like to meet them. I'm sure Mother would like to meet them as well.
I think they're in the bathhouse right now. I would have brought them with, but I heard you in a meeting.
Yes. Isa has foretold a prophecy that she is uncertain of, but I do not know. It seems unlikely. We have been at peace for so long, I would prefer if it stayed that way. She seems to think that another one of the temples might be rallying forces. Not that they'd likely win, but she is a concerned woman, you know this.
Yes. Which temple is meant to be doing that?
The Volort.
I'm
typing it out.
That one.
You would recall it, but only very smallly. It was a very small temple. It's recently been gaining a little bit of power, but excuse me. You would remember the word used that your temple uses to describe them is Dothriel, or unfriendly. It's basically Yuan-Ti that have more the desire to spread and infect rather than welcome.
Not the nicest bunch.
No, not a very small. If they were even to try anything against us, I don't think we'd be of any concern. But Isa is concerned, so we are going to potentially be raising guard alerts a bit. I don't think it will be any of concern, though. Anyways, that is not of your concern, though. I am so glad to see you back.
Same. I was trying to think of a pet name there, but failed.
My little demon. She just picks you up again. Yep. So, shall we go meet them? You said they were in a bathhouse, yes?
Yes.
I think we could pay them a visit. Honestly, Mother probably could as well, given that she is very nosy to new patrons.
Trying to imagine how the mother would get into the bathhouse.
There's glass. She doesn't need to get in it. She can just be outside it.
Out of character, I was just imagining that a big head just sort of appears in one of the pools.
Just like they're taking a bath and the middle of the pool just suddenly gets cooler. They're like, "Oh, what just happened?" And then just a head starts rising out of the water.
That would totally terrify everyone.
Oh, it's still not going to be good.
Oh no.
I will tell her to come meet them. She runs back over to the central pool that she was previously talking at. Says a couple of words in the Draconic language. As you know, the Yuan-Ti language of this world to be. And then runs back to join you. Right, let's go meet them.
Since there's no dragons, would that be the Yuan-Ti language?
It's just referred to as the reptilian language.
Okay.
Because lizard folk also speak it.
Fair.
Oops. Button. I was actually trying to rename that.
Yuan Ti is also its own language, but I don't use it because it's complicated.
Do they have their own language?
Yes, they do have their own language they speak.
I thought they just
Was it?
spoke Draconic and Abyssal. Okay. Fair enough.
I was just trying to write that as a Yuan-Ti Draconic subset.
Pretty much. Alright, so you
And-
both start making your way back to the bathhouse, occasionally seeing a shadow in the water move past you. After about 15 minutes, Failsy rejoins the rest of the party.
So, as I was trying to tell the story, it was the dead of night. I woke up. I didn't know where I was going.
I thought we were gonna do a bounce back of what we would have been.
Doing during that time.
It's kind of what was going on when you guys were getting undressed and everything.
I had a specific thing with that I wanted to mention, and I didn't get a chance to.
Then do it.
It was
You gotta
just,
speak up.
it was just that, like, probably would be mostly Dravinche who would notice is that Morgone actually would have taken a towel to use while in the bath.
Hmm. That's not common of you.
I don't want to talk about it right now.
Are you sure?
I have no idea how far the effect would be progressing.
Pretty well masked considering you're in mineral water.
I mean, like, if it would be harder for her to disguise that.
Wouldn't be too hard to disguise it. It's not a very severe thing right now, I will say. It's just sort of that discomfort of... There's a lot of things going on right now.
It's just
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah, it's not quite to the level where you have to hide anything yet, I would say.
Okay, but...
Well, if you prefer not to talk.
And to a certain extent, it's almost starting to go away because you're starting to get used to it.
It doesn't make it any less uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
Yeah, or awkward.
You know I'm always one to talk if you need it.
Maybe when there's not so many people around.
Sure.
And now I want everyone to imagine this scene with the fact that Madame Elway is still sitting in the fishbowl off to the side.
Does she at least look to be feeling better?
She looks a lot more comfortable right now. She is actually moving around.
Okay,
She doesn't look like she's dying.
Also, the fishbowl is currently half drained of water already.
so what Keto's worried about.
She reabsorbed the water she had lost, so she's fine.
But
I'm sure they'll fill that up later.
Pretty much if anyone said anything, an attendant would come in and refill the water.
so, retelling the story of how she encountered an imp for the first time. Just kind of very animated about the fact that it was trying to eat me. And Brimstone shot it.
That's about the time you'd be walking back in, Failsy.
It wasn't with his gun. No, he didn't have the gun at this time. It was with the bow and arrow, and then it was boom, boom. One arrow through one wing, one arrow through the other, and then just dead. Hi! Oh, hi.
Oh.
Hi! Oh, hi. That was some shade.
You're like, oh
Her-
wow.
Jamel is currently not in the room.
Okay.
Oh,
It's just Felzy at the doorway.
So
Hey, I'm back.
were you able to meet your wife?
Yep, she's doing great.
Is it alright if I come in? They're not shy, are they?
Shy? Us? No, not
That is
at
not
all.
said where any of you guys can hear it. That is said to Felzy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Shy? I don't think they're shy at all. She says obliviously. Not really caring if they are.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And if they are, oh well, too bad. Sucks for them, doesn't it?
Alrighty then, I just wanted to make sure. Alright, so Felzy walks in the room, and then shortly after, you all see this massive 8-foot tall, almost kind of tiefling with leathery wings growing out of her back and this long reptilian tail extending from the base of her spine till about 12 feet behind her.
Huh.
is that a nosebleed I'm feeling? What?
Ooh. Whoa.
And everyone on the server has seen drawings of Jamel before.
Mm-hmm.
Notable
kind of-
features of her... Sorry?
Just staring a bit.
Alright then, well I suppose we can join them in the bath, Felzy. I don't see why we wouldn't.
Fels is already slipping out of her outfit.
Not... Well, actually, you got a new outfit, so it's a bit more work.
Well,
Oh wait,
She's
no,
been
you went
wearing
back to
her
the
long-
desert attire.
yeah.
So yeah, basically no effort required.
Elsie, you didn't mention how impressive she looked.
Very big and very pretty.
I mean, what words can I say about my wife?
Jamel does start to strip behind Felzy. This is a weird thing to point out, but it is something of note. She does not have nipples or exposed genitalia even when she's naked.
Okay. Okay.
So kind of like Barbie doll anatomy almost.
No, it's like she has like a snake's underbelly pattern, and you just can't see them.
Ah.
I was meaning like same concept but different visual.
Yeah, kinda.
I
And Keta, you'd also have this realization of, you saw this woman walking in, you're a little bit of distance away. As she's getting closer to you, you're starting to realize just how big she is.
Just having an internal panic attack of like, okay, try to keep it together, try to not explode at the moment. That'd be very awkward.
Da Vinci will stand up from the water and just kind of hold out a hand. It's a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine. By the way, I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw again.
Even the ones that already failed.
Yes, you make it a disadvantage though.
9.
Oh boy.
19.
There's an issue. Brimstone, even with your 19, there's still an issue. The room suddenly smells very pleasant, and you're not really sure how to describe it, just pleasant. Almost calming in a weird way. But certain things are happening that I can't say on stream.
Brimstone's expression is just a shade darker.
Da Vinci is just going to try to play as cool as possible.
Question: how is our big orc friend faring against this?
He doesn't seem bothered at all.
Of course, he's the only one not bothered.
He's made both saving throws. Lee has a really good constitution.
Yeah. It's a big boy.
Big boy. Oh god.
But yeah,
Well,
there's definitely some camping going on, as some might say.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
when you pitch a tent, but there's more than one.
Yeah.
But also
Well.
get out of the water. Stand next to the friendship, but like healthy distance. Healthy distance.
Well, I guess we should introduce ourselves.
Of course.
My name is Stravince.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Dravinche. And she just starts to scan over, figuring she'll introduce herself last. Also, the fact that her name has been said multiple times.
My name is Keta, and can I hug you?
I don't see why not. Just sort of opens her arms wide.
Because my god, this is the tallest person I've ever hugged.
Yes, you can hug this. You can hug the snake waifu. It is soft to an extent, but there are a lot of very powerful muscles going on here. It's like hugging a more solid version of Lee.
I get picked up a little bit in the hug.
Yeah, also your head is firmly between boobs. This reminds you of your aunt. Very similar proportions, actually.
Hug is very
Something she's
boob.
not too used. It's like not too unusual for her then.
No wonder Fails married her.
Very similar proportions, though weirdly enough, cool to the touch. She is not warm.
When she gets put down, Keta will be like, "Thank you, that was very nice of you. Remind me a lot of my aunt."
She like puts a finger to her chin and makes a quizzical expression, just like, "You must have a very endowed aunt."
Very.
I'm assuming you know.
Yeah.
He wants to fuck her.
Shut up!
That was not a denial, so I will assume it to be true. So you are? I assume your name is not want to fuck her?
No, it totally is.
Adventure, I swear to God.
Well,
You
then
can call me-
introduce yourself.
You can call me Brimstone.
Brimstone, alright. And then scanning over, just like Lee just sort of like he almost doesn't even realize someone else has joined you guys in the bath because his eyes are just closed. He's just sort of floating. Just making a happy little smile.
That's
Oh.
Humbly. And as he just floats past, Jamel just sort of just reaches down and pats him on the head. Good boy.
This is very softly. He's my boyfriend. It's in like that really giggly, stupid way.
Impressive. You found yourself a good one.
Why do I picture Jamel just looks over the two of them and then just
No, it's more along the lines of Lee is like floating past her and she pats him on the head. Keta says that and she like looks at Lee's butt. Just like, you found a good one.
I love this woman so much. She's great.
That's pretty good.
And you are? Looking at the only person who hasn't introduced themselves yet.
Morgan's been kind of hiding in the water. She just, like, basically only her nose, her head from the nose up is above water so she can breathe. She just pops up enough to just is like, I'm Morgan, and then back under she goes.
So she is timid, alright.
Normally she isn't, but
Just kind of.
What that smell is? That really sweet incensey like smell.
You all see like a gear turning expression on Jamel's face.
It's just like, do I tell them? Or...
No, it's just like a I've forgotten something, haven't I? Then dot dot dot. Oh no! I'm very sorry.
Don't be sorry. What
what?
happened?
What is it?
I kind of forgot that you all are not native to the temple, so this would actually affect you.
What's going on? Is there another cookie?
This cookie?
Oh no!
I am Felsi. What is she talking about? I figure you've been traveling with them.
Kata just does the hand motion at Failsy and then just like nod at do you know who?
Sorry, could you clarify what you mean by since we're not from around here?
Oh, yes, sorry. I was a bit sidetracked by what you said. I'm still confused about what the cookie has to do with this.
We'll explain
I
later.
don't know anything about cookies.
We'll explain later.
Alright. That's fair enough, I suppose. I am a queen. At least in line. We have a certain air about us.
That makes
And
entirely
here I thought this was
sense.
from how attractive you are.
That's part of it, I assume. Better than I. Anyways, I was not thinking. I'm very sorry.
It's okay. I'm just gonna gently pat her arm.
Maybe it is for the best that Mother does not come. And at that moment, you guys hear boom, boom. And you feel
What's
like the
that?
glass around you shake slightly.
Oh,
Look wherever the shadow is.
It's not a shadow at this
Yeah.
point.
Where's the
Brimstone
shaky?
just kind of closes his eyes. Just good.
Anyone who looks over to where those sounds came from, you'd
Yeah.
see hands wrapped around the orb you're currently in, completely eclipsing it.
I'm guessing that's Mother.
And as you say that, just a face from the dark waters just comes into view. Her head bigger than the dome you're in.
It clings to Jamel. Is just
Huh.
like just clings to
Vinci
her arm.
just slowly sits down into the water.
Huh.
Wave, like hi.
You see one of the hands pull away and just wave at you, just very excitedly.
Slow wave.
Well, that explains a lot about what
That is my mother.
I see.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Your Highness. And Keta will do like a bow that she's been like taught to do. It's just supposed to be for like etiquette reasons.
She doesn't say anything, and honestly, you guys can't even really see her that well because she's outside of like a fishbowl. So there's like a weird distortion going on.
It's even more terrifying.
Yeah, but she just sort of like nods and before swimming away. Yeah, and it's
Okay.
terrifying how quickly she disappears from view.
That reminds me of the Kraken.
Yeah.
Huh.
Has anyone here seen the new Godzilla movie?
Yes.
It's straight up the scene where Godzilla just appears in front of the screen
Okay,
in the underwater scene.
I got you.
At the Castle Bravo base.
Yeah. Just that sudden, just like, it's there type appearance.
Okay.
Almost jump scary.
Yee.
Yeah, after catch a constant. She's just gonna climb back in the pool and just kind of curl up. Like, that is terrifying.
Were you like hanging off of Jamel? Because she's also in the water.
More so, just kind of slightly clinging to her arm.
That would bring you out of the water.
Yeah.
I
terrified.
think she's more reacting on fear at this point than.
Fair enough.
I imagine there's like just trails of black smoke coming off of her. She's not really in control of her emotions.
Fair enough. Jamel just sort of like pats your head, just like, it is fine, it is fine. She is like me, but big. Well, bigger.
Very big. Is there
Yeah.
a chance that you'll get that big?
Oh, most definitely. It will not be for several hundreds of years, but yes.
Only 5 foot.
Several hundreds of years. Do you think your mother will get bigger? In that time?
No, she has reached more or less an apex of growth. She
Okay.
believes I will get bigger.
Than her or.
Yes.
I'm only 5 foot, and I could not grow any bigger.
Well, we could do something about that, but that is entirely your decision.
I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to grow bigger. I'm still really young. I'm a baby.
Okay. You are but a little baby.
Okay.
And she sets you into the water. So I imagine that whole conversation was still had while you clinging on her arm.
As Kesha is now finally calmed down and like is not ready to explode out of fear.
Yeah, she's no longer panicking.
Anyways, I'm sorry about that introduction. I can introduce you to her in a more formal setting going forward. But what brings you all to the temple? She's finally sitting down in the water herself. Just barely chest level into the water.
Well, we were traveling and Failsy mentioned about her home being here. And what a better time than to visit.
I also forgot water.
Yes, some supplies would be very good as well.
We can certainly arrange for that.
Also, I from what Failsy has told me, and what she showed me with her magic, you guys have very interesting magic and stories.
Yes, we practice quite a bit of magic, and we have many stories.
And
Our archive is only rivaled by Graham's Royal Official Archive.
I was not allowed in there once after I drank random wine and I ran into a bookcase.
She gives another like quizzical look thinking about that situation.
I'm picturing like the scene from The Mummy 2, or the the first Mummy, where they just knock over one bookcase and knocks over the entire line.
Probably. You see her like doing a thing with her fingers where she has like two of them her two index fingers pointing in opposite directions, and she just sort of like gestures, making one push into it, and then just sort of falling over, and like making her fingers knock against each other to where they all fall over.
That was why I was forbidden from the library.
That seems like a good reason, to be honest.
First time I heard about
I'm,
that.
I'm not allowed to touch the grain of wine anymore. Zone is supposed to keep it on under locks.
Well, we have other wines if you'd like to partake.
That sounds good.
And she actually does lean over to you, Mordegon. Oh, actually help lessen the effect with what you're feeling right now.
Just furious bubbles and blushing.
Dervinche slides up. So is that what's the deal with the towel?
She just kind of looks at him and just reluctantly nods.
Just gives her a pat on the head.
Pops up just long enough to just go, I'm embarrassed about it, alright?
Well, we can address it later.
For what it concerns, it is not uncommon. We are a temple where much love is given.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Keto's.
But, and mind you, because we've had travelers concerned of this in the past, only if it is wanted.
Like,
Fucked up.
get a chance to explain the cookie thing earlier. Basically, agree that you get cookies, and there's special cookies that you need to share with someone special. Failsy.
Yes.
And they do the same thing that the smell does.
Is that tiefling woman that visits us on occasion, Failsy?
Is her name Bliss?
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, she comes by ever so often to gather ingredients.
Now, Keta, why would you know about the effect of the cookies?
Dervinche.
Wait.
Hmm?
Oh.
Dervinche. I'm not. No matter how much you're going to ask, I'm not going to tell you.
Jamel just looks at Keta and then looks at Lee.
That answer gives me everything I need to know.
You and Lee tried the cookies, didn't you?
You didn't explain what they did.
Yeah.
Well, it was at least a fun night.
Keta takes a deep breath and just kind of plunges her head underneath the water at that question.
Oh, the little baby's growing up, Felzy says, hugging her.
I think that answer means yes.
Angry bubbles.
Oh, to be young and in love. Or at least to be young and in lust.
Yes.
You're still
First
young.
time was always one of the most interesting, isn't it?
So, play music.
Alright.
I am a storyteller by trade. Stories you want written about you, I can write it.
Alright. By the way, as a note, Danny, because of being frightened, you were also coming down from the effects.
Okay, good to know. Probably still going to be annoying to deal with later, but it's lessened, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
I assume Morrigan is not into being scared during such things, at least.
Hell no!
Then yes, it is almost cut to a point of how it was when you first entered the temple when you got scared.
So easy to ignore, but should possibly be addressed later.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And family friendly, everyone.
Nothing has been directly stated. God, when we tell other people about this later, I feel like Jack is gonna have a field day.
Oh, he will.
So basically, what we're doing is a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Yes. All of the implication, none of the statement.
Yup.
Failsy, I had
A lot of
question
hello,
about-
nurse.
Hello, nurse.
Hello, Morrigan.
Failsy, I had a question
I
about
don't.
us bedding down tonight. Like, is it like a communal
Oh, God.
or
What was you just asked?
Is it communal bedding or is it separate rooms, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
That's my question.
What are the bed situations like, is what she's asking.
Well, I can answer that. We have private rooms for couples. There are communal lodgings, private rooms, and group rooms. And as much as my words may not have stated very clearly, they are for sleeping.
Mm.
It's just some are meant to house quite a few people, like our barracks type rooms, or some are meant to house a few people. Mostly, we keep family groups together, is how it goes. I can certainly arrange for you all to be given a family grouping room. Would have about 7 beds in it, comfortable sleeping.
Such a lovebirds there.
Brimstone?
We can push
What?
beds together as well.
I will tell Mom.
Is your mom like my mom?
As big, not as big.
Well, it's hard to be as big as my mom, but I meant scary. But also
Right.
attractive. That's a yes!
She has threatened to rip his horns out one by one on multiple occasions.
That's a lot of horns.
Very
Yeah.
strong. And, her name is Vivian.
I just picture where the brand is submerged, the water is just starting to boil.
Yeah.
So, her name is Vivian. My aunt's name.
Yazamar.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
Really?
pay attention.
You're the daughter of an Azamar.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a law. It's kind of came out with the rest of the party when I exploded. Literally, I quite literally.
There's a
exploded.
look of confusion on her face.
Yeah.
Should I just? It would be easier to show you instead of trying to explain.
Yeah.
And then Keta will kind of pat out.
Keta. Maybe in a place not so public.
Well, this is not a public place right now. It is just us.
It's just us.
Head to the Sublucidus, the worst kept secret ever.
Right.
It's like if Area 51 published all of its documents.
Still helping Ket to get more comfortable for the fact that she's eventually going to have to do like this around a lot more people when
Fair
the
enough.
time comes for it. Jamel's also a very important person, so Keta will kind of pat out of the water and kind of give herself a little shake, and then take a breath and then let it loose. Let the form loose.
Alright. You have a considerably more amount of control over it this time. It's not like that momentary snap of intense pain, since you're not doing it in the middle of a fight right now, or in the middle of a very stressful situation. It just sort of happens. It's a bit more of a slow transformation, but it just sort of happens.
And I will give a little kind of spin around for Jamel to see.
I'm gonna do a thing real quick. Make an insight check on Jamel, anyone who's looking at her rather than Keta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. Brimstone.
17.
Brimstone can't read the snake.
No, I get the feeling Brimstone is probably actively trying not to look too closely anyways.
Yeah, just just like looking to see a reaction. Then no, not a good idea.
Monogon, Keta, and Juravinche.
Yes, and then there's Dravinje, who's just looking.
Fair enough.
I mean,
Right?
In general.
that's
Fair
just Dravinche, perpetually horny.
No shame. But
Yeah.
then again, neither does this woman have shame, so there's no problem.
No shame in being pretty.
Fair enough. There's a look of recognition. Interesting.
Does it look familiar to you?
Yes, it's something we have records of. You're a Lucidus, right?
Is that what they're called?
I didn't realize those were still around.
But you hear that, Keta? Can find out more information about yourself.
I mean, certainly if you'd like to learn more. Felsi herself is a high scholar, at least one in training. So she has position to access the archives at will, and I am next in line for the princess, or princess.
She
It's
is a
weird to
princess.
It's weird to call myself a princess. My official title is Heir of the Twilight Skies. You would know that probably comes from the fact that Jamel she literally has purple scales. Like metallic-y purple scales.
From what we could see of her mother, did she have the same?
There are like the edges of them on her face that you could see.
Okay.
As admittedly you really couldn't see too much.
Right.
She has the same type of metallic scales, but from what you saw, hers looked like they had almost oil on water effect on them.
Oh.
They were iridescent.
Oh. Huh.
Jamel does not have the same effect on her scales, but
right,
it's the same color.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I do recognize that. I'm sure we have notes in our archives about it from the pre-Advent era. Philzy, you'd know about that, and we have plenty of books on the pre-Advent era. It used to be something you studied intensely.
I'm a little rusty on it, so I really do need to check my notes on it.
Yeah. Like, from what we were discussing before game, you have a lot of notes on some of the civilizations that were pre-Advent. Not necessarily the events leading up to the war for civilization that was the cause of the advent of civilization, but you do have notes on pre-Advent civilizations that existed and just seemingly disappeared. But we could certainly look in the archives and see if there's more information about them. I know I've read at least one book. Looking for everyone else and I just can't hear her.
What?
No, Andy's muted because she had to go BRB. But she does say that Keta is interested.
Fair enough. I shouldn't want to keep talking and saying thanks to her when she couldn't respond.
Yeah, that's fair.
She is listening, though.
Alright.
Wonderful.
And that'll...
having a very productive visit.
Of course.
Might I ask a question?
I cannot guarantee an answer, but you can certainly ask it.
What in the archive do you... What kinds of knowledge do you have? Is it just written knowledge about the ways of the world, or do you have something that's a bit more the style of someone who's wants to enjoy the world? Like, for example, I'm always open to learning new dance routines.
Oh, that is what you were asking me.
Yeah, why didn't
Okay.
you just lead with that?
I thought you were asking me about like items or something. Yes, of course. We have many books on cultural dances. We try to practice them at some of our festivals. You all have actually come slightly before one of our festivals is set to begin, if you'd like to stay for it.
Can I have access to the books about your dance routines?
It's more scrolls, but yes. I don't see what harm that would be to let you learn some new dance routines.
Keta, now probably normal Keta again, is just gonna sit back in the very quiet at the fact of like, oh shit, there's information about me. Or like what I am.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
information about your people.
The fact that you were already told that Jamel is not a magical person, like she doesn't really do magic, but she immediately recognized what you were.
She's very well read, at least.
Yeah.
Just quietly ask, have you ever met anyone else like me? Or has your mother?
My mother, definitely. I am not that old, unfortunately. I've met plenty of Azamar in my time, but
You met my mother.
yes.
Or at least so Keta's like, oh wow.
There have been missions from Granum to retrieve some of our wares before. They have much interest in our glasscraft.
Does Keta remember her mother ever having anything made out of glass around?
You don't necessarily remember your mother specifically, but you remember a lot of temples of Granum have stained glass windows, and you know that they are incredibly expensive and hard to acquire. Most because Granum in of itself does not have a lot of precious minerals that would be used to color glass.
That explains the windows.
Also, glass in of itself is not super common in Granum. Like, colored glass in general is not super common.
Miss Janelle, I was just... The information that I have about what I am is that I exist and the cult Magisteria wants to kill me for what I am. So to harvest what I am. There was a lot of me before, and we were warriors. I couldn't be warriors anymore. We were...
There's some disputes that I've read. Your race, was either willingly sacrificed on their own behalf, or simply acted as batteries. Some sources imply that there was death involved to grant such a boon. Other sources simply said you would power things by driving. And when she says that, Jamel actually looks over at you, Failsy. As like you've seen something like that before.
Like the
thing we discussed pre-game way back when. The
Ah.
big artifact you saw.
Oh.
Yes, used as a power source.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna shove a Keter into that.
I mean, no,
would
we
ask
don't
you
want
not
to.
I'm cute. Why
But-
would you want to hurt me?
We don't. Well, hmm.
Let's not hurt the mascot.
Is she the mascot?
She's adorable enough to be one.
You're not wrong. I wish no harm upon her. At least not yet. She's not given me a reason to harm her.
I don't think she would.
I don't think any of us would even dare to give you a reason.
Well, yeah, but especially Keta.
Can give you a bone, Miss Jamel. It'd be a matching blow to Failsies.
I would like that.
Keta's mood seems to have lightened fairly a lot from just her talk of like, hey! Your people was used as a battery once too. Okay, now I'm feeling better, or at least trying to not look sad.
Oh, question. In regards to the library, is there any particular areas that we would not be allowed into?
Yes. There are some places that only the high scholars and royalty are allowed into. At least without considerable appraisal.
And are there any particular subjects in the normal library that we should avoid?
She gives you a bit of a quizzical look, like, why are you asking that?
It's to make sure that we don't step out of our bounds. We are guests and we don't want to risk upsetting our host.
There's information you might find contradictory to your own beliefs. Our own teachings, of course. But as long as you are not intent to report such things, then there will be no cause for concern.
Kind of just sinks in the water at that, like, oh.
Very fair. You shall have no trouble from me.
This is good. For if I did have trouble from you, it would be relatively easy to deal with you.
Eh.
Which is why there'll be no trouble.
Very good.
Well, looking at the library would be very helpful. I think first-hand accounts of meeting would be very... You don't really understand much if you only read it. When you hear it from a person, it makes more sense.
I'll see what I can dredge up.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem, little Keta.
If you guys don't mind, I think I'm just gonna go dry off.
I think that'd
That-
probably be best for all of us.
Starting to prune up a little bit.
Actually, you're fine. Your skin just reformed perfectly dry. You're probably the least pruny of anyone here.
Go figure. Exploding is great for getting the water off of you.
Evaporating all of your skin? Who would have thought that would get rid of the water on your skin?
Though as
Now I'm
Kenta's
just
getting out,
picturing, like, Kenta somehow gets very messy, like some oil or something spilled all over her. She explodes, the oil flies everywhere, and then reforms perfectly clean.
Pretty much.
but as she's getting out, she's going to kind of try to get Lee to, or at least open up his eyes as well.
Hmm?
Waking up, basically getting Lee's attention so he's not floating anymore. Basically, like, hey, we're all gonna get out.
Oh. Okay.
I'm sure that if you ask them nicely before we leave, you can bathe again. Don't worry.
I'd actually like to swim out there. And he points at the outside of the glass.
Just
There's no reason why he couldn't.
Can you breathe in there?
no, probably just
That is more of a question for him than me.
I know he dove into the water to save me from drowning, but that was only a little bit of swimming, and I know. I mean, he's.
I could hold my breath a pretty long time. I just like being in the water.
Real
Out of
fish.
character, as someone who went swimming yesterday, I can sympathize.
Lee just really likes being in the water. He's been away from it for so long.
Yeah, he was born on the water.
Literally
lived on the
bored in the
water.
middle of the ocean.
Yeah, he's been on the water all his life. It's what he knows.
Yeah.
Why am I picturing that we're going to leave here with 2 more carriages, but the second 2 carriages are basically swimming pools?
For Lee and Elway.
Just 2 more walking bathtubs. Or fish bowls, rather. Which, by the way, Elway is still just sitting staring at all of you.
I'll nicely ask an attendant to maybe refill her water.
Oh, it's refilled. It's already gotten refilled. She's actually currently sitting on... She's actually kind of like got her arms up on the edge of the tub, and she's drinking some weird, almost what would look like a cocktail type thing. But it's just a large glass cup filled with a weird multicolored liquid.
How are you feeling now, Madam Elway?
A lot better.
That's good.
It's nice to see you moving a lot more than before.
I haven't been this hydrated in quite some time. This drink is also divine. She just sort of like slinks back into the water and continues drinking it. It doesn't leave the glass as she submerges into the water.
Is she like just lounge chair chilling in the fishbowl?
Kind of hard to tell. Her robes take up the
Yeah.
entire pool.
all we just see is robes and the occasional.
Is Charles
Hi.
perched at the edge of the bowl, just kind of looking down?
No, he is, but he actually has his own martini.
I'm imagining he's in a floaty as well.
No, he's just sort of like sitting, like butt on the edge of the pool, edge of the fishbowl, just sitting with his little feetsies kicking off the side.
I love it. I love it.
There are also 4 other ravens that everyone just kind of ignores because Charles is the one with the personality.
He's also the albino one.
Yeah. I mean, they're actually all different colors.
One's pink, we
is-
got one's purple.
One's blue, one's
One
red,
pink.
one's green, one's black, and one's white.
So we got four cool ones, and then one that's just
And when I say black, I mean pitch black, like you can't see its features black.
Oh,
So Vanta Black.
Yes, Vanta black.
Kettle
Like
asks
absence
to
of
the
light
fish.
black.
Kettle asks to the fishbowl. She has a pink bird like her.
No, I don't believe I do.
fun
I don't know
color.
why I don't know why I responded as Jamel, but I don't believe I do. No pink bird. I could make a pink bird.
It'd be a fun color.
It would be. You see a hand slowly reach out of the water and touch the red bird, and it turns pink.
Oh, I was kind of hoping she'd do it to Charles. Say!
Okay,
I mean, the other one does just sort of go, hey, but yeah.
That's a lot nicer than what I thought was going to happen, which is grab one of the birds, drag it into the water, and then poof, out comes the pink bird.
Just like, grip. No, she just sort of like taps it and its color changes.
Keta has now found her new friend. Is a pink bird.
Well, I didn't know she was here, but alright. How did I not notice her?
It's the fishbowl. It's an illusion.
That's a ally of ours that is traveling with us ever since we left an island out in the middle of the ocean.
She's been very much dehydrated on our way here.
She's used to being close to a lot of water.
Yeah.
Fair enough. This desert has a bad way of dehydrating people.
Yeah.
Oh, on that note, if you're going to go through the desert to Grainham, be very careful as you're passing through the yellow portion of the desert. We can give you... Yes, we can give you plenty of water to help with the journey, but if you do not stay hydrated, you will die very quickly.
I assume do not touch the yellow sand.
You can touch it, just be ready to apply ointments and balms to fix the cracking that will form on your skin.
It's a
To the
look
what?
like process. Can't just basically dry skin. I think it is.
Oh, okay.
It literally saps all of the moisture out of anything it touches.
Ew.
How will the horses deal with that?
We
I
have...
was about to ask that.
Well... We can outfit it with some special things. It doesn't affect things like metal touching it, or bone, or... I guess a horse's hoof is more like hair? Like
It
horn.
just-
As she,
just
like horn, as
affects-
she just taps one of her own.
I'm guessing
Yeah.
it just affects, like, flesh.
Yes, direct contact with flesh. And even then, as long as you stay hydrated, it will not be an issue. So just
Yeah,
make
that's
sure your horse
fair.
is given plenty of water. And either way, you have a burden-back horse. They are incredibly sturdy.
It was
but
very
we-
smart to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with them being sturdy, we still want to keep it in healthy condition.
Of course. I'll see if I can't have one of our Crystallums do something for it.
Is there really any gift I can send you back from when we get to Greenham as a nicety for as a return for all the nice things you've done for us?
She just sort of smiles, and then grabs Failsy under the arms and picks her up. Keep this safe for me.
Hey!
We will. Now,
And she just brings
is that
you in
to
for a
keep her
squish
safe
hug.
Is that to keep her safe from everything else, or to keep her safe from herself?
Yes.
Yeah,
That is-
that's the appropriate response to somebody who knows what's up.
She just pats you on the head, Failsy. You know what you get into.
We'll
Well,
also
we can
send
do our
you
best
back
with
some
one.
maple
I'm not
candies.
so sure about the other. Have you shown... out of character. Failsy, could you remind me what the wolf's name was? Wait, never mind. I have it written
Fenris.
down. Oh, Failsy, have you shown her Fenris yet?
Not
It's currently submerged under the water. Bark.
There he is.
I That can
I
be
sort of
okay.
noticed it, but I really wasn't going to question it. Felsie has a weird habit of accruing strange artifacts whenever she goes out.
Yes, in this case.
It's actually where like 40% of the artifacts we have come from.
Just from.
Huh.
She's very good at finding things.
Granted.
Da-da. Well, I just like finding shiny things on the ground.
And I love you for it.
Also like to hit my boyfriend at times.
You punch Lee?
Oh, you!
Oh. Actually, I just had an idea.
Felsie,
Felsie, you
there's
still
enough.
have the boat.
Oh, that's in a backpack somewhere.
So it would be basically sitting in the dressing room right now. Or still in the cart, if you left it in the cart.
Probably in the cart, given its size.
It's 1 foot by 1 foot. You could technically shove it into a backpack and just take up most of the space. Or Fenris might have it right now. He's got a backpack. He's also underwater. So don't say it's command word.
Fenris just explodes.
The
I don't think Fenris has his backpack on while he's in the water.
You haven't taken it off him.
No, if anything, there's a big stack of cactus in his.
Yeah, there is cactus in his backpack. So he walks out, and now he has boiled cactus in his backpack. Don't drink the bathwater.
I was about to say. Well, you have the folding boat where we have the disassembled spider. This might be a good place to actually mess with some of the components.
Yeah? We'd probably need to take it back to the surface and unfold it on the lake.
I mean, unless
I was just not remembering if there is actually a dock somewhere under.
Not for a boat.
Yeah.
Like, for UNT to come in and out of the Undercity, yes. But not for a boat.
Well,
Because most UNT are actually quite proficient swimmers.
well, as long as there isn't a problem with suddenly putting a boat onto the lake.
Mother might play with it.
I mean,
Very best.
it's been punched up a bit by big things, so I'm sure it won't be bad for her to play with.
I mean,
Also run through
Lavani
a
did
wall.
attack it.
Jamella's like looking around, just like there are so many pieces of new information going on right here.
You found some fun people, Fancy.
You see, like, you could actually like look behind her and see like the tip of her tail is like swishing back and forth really fast. He's like, there's a lot of information to absorb here.
Yeah.
We can talk more about it later.
Yeah.
Of course. First, a room, dinner, and a good night's sleep, I should say.
At this point,
And
Kenta
maybe
is
a bit
now
of fun before the night's sleep for some of us.
That is your prerogative.
If allowed, Kenta would be putting the bow in Jamel's hair.
You could just sort of like climb up on her and she doesn't really notice. She's definitely not stopping you.
It's a lot of tiny little green bows that she's putting in.
Like, she actually helps you at one point if you start to fall off of her because her wing just, like, wraps around your butt and lifts you up.
Cat is having the time of her life, man.
Also, I love how everyone just glosses over the fact she has wings.
Yeah, Cat. Is it that weird for Cat to gloss over it?
Alrighty then. Well,
I mean, that's just normal for Failsy.
fair enough. She's the only Yuan T that has wings, so it is a little abnormal, but it's normal because you're used to it.
Normal for Failsy because that's her life.
And last one. And tied off. There you go. All done.
Well, thank you, dear.
Hmm.
And her wing will just sort of like slide you down onto the ground.
Very happy with me.
On that note, if you're going to be having fun, I would arrange for private rooms then.
That would be appreciated.
Not a problem. And on that note, her tail just wraps around Failsy and lifts her up off the ground. I think we should,
Go to your
Depart.
private room.
and I think that's where we can end it for tonight.
Poor Brimstone's gonna be left all alone.
See you guys.
But,
Yeah, but
And
the
they-
thing is, that's fine.
I mean, he
Brimstone's
wouldn't be
awkward
if he
chaperone.
wanted.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to.
Fair enough. Alright, that's it for the night. Hope everyone liked the Snake Sex Temple.
I love Failsy
We'll be returning to it next week.
Yeah.
We went so long on stream without directly saying it.
I mean,
It's the end of the stream, we're fine.
Well, since it is end of the stream, though, and since she normally goes first, would our soon-to-be birthday girl like to shill?
Yes, I would.
Shill,
Because,
shill,
oh
shill.
my goodness. Something fun's gonna happen on Sunday. Tonight,
Bless
you
you.
saw me as Keta, the solicitous bard, whose moment and her sudden newfound liking for ladies.
It's not newfound, it's just newly discovered.
Newly discovered, yes, newly discovered. If my computer was there, we go. You can find me Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/Latverian Citizen, where I play the Tiefling Blood Hunter, who recently got a kind of Disney princess-esque makeover, and now one of her teammates is now madly in love with her. We're going to be fighting an actual huge demon.
Hooray!
It's Desire's first demon that she's actually fought. She's only fought devils before. That is me.
I exist. We'll see how long that lasts. At this point, I legitimately don't know if I'm going to be doing anything with the Tuesday thing. It's very up in the air, and I have not been able to get it figured out.
But when it is figured out, we will have information on it.
Yep.
Armor, do you have anything?
No, not really. I forgot to unmute myself.
Was it?
Curse of Strahd isn't on this week. It is Nick the weekend after this one.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Failsy, do you have anything?
Sadly, I don't really do any shilling.
We'll find you something to shill yet, boy.
And then Myth.
Yeah.
Do you have any shilling? Like, isn't there a certain game that you are a player in that is also streamed?
Yeah. That's what I'm getting the freaking link.
I'm just
Stop
giving you
rushing
shit.
me!
I'm just giving you shit.
So, I lost my train of thought. So, Mondays, 2 p.m. EST, Shadows and Starlight. Our monk just got kidnapped. My character's husband seems to be in trouble. Helgrim has had a very long week, and he is not enjoying any of this. But we'll find that Twitch TV / the Lady Ori underscores under all the words. Or between the words. Also, there is where you find Curse of Strahd, Saturdays, 6 p.m. EST. Next Saturday, the 21st. On account of Borderlands 3 just coming out, and there's no fucking way you're going to pull me away from them on this Saturday.
Lucky we got him tonight.
I don't think there's going to be any pulling Ari away from it either.
Yeah, probably not.
And, well, then that just leaves me. There actually is a new thing for me to add on.
Oh no.
It's looking like, hopefully, Mondays hopefully to stay around somewhere between 3 and 4 p.m. EST. There is a new campaign on this channel, Gathering Tide, which is DM'd by the other resident Australian that we all know and love, being Jack Dittman.
I was like, wait, who's the first one? Oh yeah, Failsy.
Clearly, Failsy needs to challenge Jack for on a Aussie off.
There are different types of Australian. It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe that Failsy and Jack are from different parts of Australia. But, yeah, that is going to be Mondays between 3 and 4 p.m. EST. And runs until basically there's just enough time to be able to be like, okay, we're going to quit now, and now Jack and I have a break to get ready for our unstreamed game that evening.
Too much D&D.
Yeah.
There is such a thing.
Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, obviously, you'll be able to continue to find this merry band of goofballs here on Thursdays at 7 p.m. EST. And holy shit, we were basically on time this week. It was nice.
And now it'll never happen again.
I know.
And I managed to get
next
through
week
this
will be ahead of
without
time.
We'll see.
You never know, it could happen. Alright, but I think that we're done here, so if everybody wants to say their goodbyes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see y'all next week.